डॉक।
कास्टर में
ओह
डॉक
नो। ओह हो। अच्छा, समझा समझा।
Well, you might fall a little flat, but here we go. And this feels like M3Z definitely having a better read on what Yellow Bingo is attempting to do in game number 2. I think they have a way better chance of bringing this series back.
Well, let's be honest, they probably had to have a
उर्फी को
better
किसकी लिंक
read
का
because
था?
allowing the Buzzwole, as we mentioned a million times, was just not
उसी को
pretty much one of the worst
कौन सी
things you
टीम
could
के
allow
पास
to
था?
have a Buzzwole in the entire UCS
वो
section,
माँ की चूत।
right? So I do like, again, the fact that they've got that. I also want to point out, I think one of the big reasons too, we see a lot of
अभी इसको मैं माँ की चूत ही बोलूंगा। एम से स्टार्ट है ना भाई, उसका नाम वही है अभी।
I still think it's such a good option on kind of reaction countering Tiger Typhoon, and especially if you're going for a little bit more of like an attacker.
Yalla
You
bingo.
really do not want them to get immediately just beamed and then burned down, and that's not going to
बेचारा क्लाउस के लिए बुरा लग रहा है, उल्टा सीधा टीम मिल गया बंदे को एक।
So they're going to be feeling a lot better about that.
उल्टा सीधा क्या होता है भाई?
Invasions, at least so far, as the Cubs does tend to be
अबे उसका तो मैचेस देखा क्या उसका टीम का? मन ये गैरलू का टीम के अगेंस्ट
नहीं।
देखना एक बार। बेचारा क्लाउस बहुत ट्राई किया पूरा मैच। टीममेट्स थोड़ा
मैं जब भी देखता हूँ वो वीना सर खेल रहा होता है।
makes a lot of sense.
वो सिल्वियन खेला और ब्लेजिकिन खेला, दोनों मैच ही हार गया। लूजर्स ब्रैकेट में होगा अभी।
मेटाग्रॉस गेम प्ले
6-6 खेल रहा होगा ना वो। अच्छा ना, पोटैटो है। एनआई में तो फुल फ्लावर ट्रिक चलने वाला है, फ्लावर ट्रिक और गैराडॉस।
कोचिंग मरेगा ना?
अबे तू बार बार आगे कैसे पहुंच जा रहा है भाई, मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा है ये बात।
भाई तू कौन से टाइमर पे है?
अभी जाके मरा मेरे सामने इधर। कोड हो रहा है अभी
2x पे कर ले।
चौथा का गोल। किया मैं।
भाई म्यू खेल गया।
बूस्टेड इलेक्ट्रो बॉल।
इंटेल ने मार दिया पता से।
Yeah, Potato doing extremely well, and now Internal has an Eldegoss, so the support and healing is going to be a bit stronger. I bet we'd probably go Pollen Puff Cotton Guard in this build. There's not much you're really wanting to Spore. There's not many dive Pokemon on the other side, so probably going full healer support move from Internal. But options still available, of course, to go with the Cotton Spore for a bit more damage.
We are going to get most of the center area EXP, it looks like, to Yellow Bingo, but we are still going to see on Enthusiast or Shifu the highest level in the game. First one to hit.
अबे ऐसा लेन ना फुल इक्वल जाता है, पता है? जिस लेन पे एल्डिगॉस और ये क्या बोलते हैं इसको, हो पाए मतलब ऑपोजिशन में। मतलब फुल स्किल बेस हो जाता है। कौन
भाई की तो चल एक किल मिल गई।
भाई 2 किल। अबे अच्छा इजेक्ट मार दिया उसने। का नाम देख ले क्या है। इंग्लिश नाइटमेयर फॉक्सी।
घंटा ये नहीं है भाई, जुटाओ है। नहीं सॉरी।
अबे लंडर का म्यू तो अच्छा ही है वैसे।
अच्छा है बट फॉक्सी का बेटर ही है।
Something like that, right? They might be a little bit scared, but I don't think they're going to get too many extra KOs as they're going to be rotating mostly up top for this Regieleki, where it's so far pretty much just Resto on the Blastoise trying to defend this, but everybody coming in with the Hoopa mobility to try and take this Regieleki, and it looks like it's going to go to... Wow, surprising. I thought it was going to be the beam.
Yeah, a few targets hit with that read that Metagross has, so the wall...
मेटाग्रॉस को लेवल कर लेना चाहिए था ना शायद, पीछे का 1-2 फार्म लेके। रेड बफ तो स्पॉन्ड ही है उनका। नेवर माइंड, ऑब्जेक्टिव से हो गया वो लेवल अप।
भाई तू 2x कर मत ऐसे हग ही। तो वही सोचूं भाई मेटाग्रास की तो ये तो सबसे ज्यादा लेवल है।
4 बार कर चुका हूँ भाई 2x, पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है।
मेरी स्ट्रीम देख ले यूट्यूब पर।
तेरा ही ऑन कर लेता हूँ मैं, फिनिश के इधर का।
हेलो वाइल्ड बीच ब्रो, व्हाट्स अप? कैसे हो? विज वीसी आ जा भाई।
HTS
स्ट्रीम कर रहे हैं तो
विज को सर्वर लिंक दे दो।
कोई लिखा
हाँ कर रहा हूँ।
which will reduce a lot of high burst damage as well. So a few options that can get up and kind of ignore a lot of that burst is going to be
ऊपर एंड पे है ना? डॉग देख रहा है ना स्ट्रीम? हेलो माइक खोल।
a top path push from M through Z as well as Hoopa forces the Sazero there for the reset.
Ooh, we see the end of a Cyclone Air right there, which looks like we did get at least 2 very important KOs off of that. Going for
अच्छा खेल रहे हैं भाई राइट वाले।
quite fine. That sneaky little Blastoise hiding in the tall grass.
ओके भाई।
It seemed like Yellow Bingo was a little bit on the back foot, but they're really fighting their way back into the lead. Obviously, they've got the points lead. The XP is just slightly in their favor, but they're really starting to find all of their team fights. Unite is just really good. I do fear, though, that a lot of it is going to be on that side in the final moments. Right now, we'll talk about this. It is
एंड का रात को होगा।
kind of just poking each other. That was a huge eject button. The slow beam. They are going to get the KO.
प्रोबेबिलिटी है तो
लैब पे चलती प्रोबेबिलिटी मार दी। प्रोबेबिलिटी मारते थे मेरे को।
मैं पीछे चल रहा हूँ
2x करो गाइस।
अच्छा
Gets that KO with 60s as well. Huge turnaround maneuver. Potato coming up from the top side.
TV Legion.
Caught out by a lot of damage. With the Fell Stinger going to get them enough range. But Potato
स्लो मो में चल रहा स्ट्रीम। व्हाट द फक?
रन मत मार
Against it, so did go in. That built some space for points, but that tier 1 didn't even exactly go down.
स्लो मो में चल रहा है क्या स्ट्रीम?
He's going down.
क्या?
मेरा स्ट्रीम स्लो मो में चल रहा है क्या?
मैं देख नहीं रहा, मैं आईफोन में ऑन कर लिया अभी, उसमें ठीक ठाक चल रहा है मेरा।
भाई स्लो मो में क्यों चल रहा है?
On the big bulk of Metagross, or even 60's Espeon, who does just take a snipe shot, has to get immediately pulled on top field. Yeah, that's all.
अभी भी स्लो मो में चल रहा है क्या
I'm
विज?
surprised we're not seeing more defense here. There is a great chance of a steal, but if this goes down at the right timing, this is so good for Yalla Bingo. They've opened it up all the way down to the tier 2 goal zone, and now
देखा नहीं मैंने,
MTZ
गेम
kind
पे
of
फोकस ही
has
नहीं
to
किया।
do this, and it's going to take them a little bit of time, allow Yalla Bingo to get into
Lagging a
position
bit.
for the final stretch.
I think
It's not going to be spawning in time, so it's
restart
really the
करना
only thing that
चाहिए।
they have left to try and go for. We do see multiple members of M through Z just kind of chilling. They're already in position, but that's scary because now if there's an initiation, we can actually see the Laprases on the bottom. It could kind of spot any of them out. One big collapse from Yellow Bingo while M through Z is split up.
टोटम डिपेंड कर रहे हैं लोग।
That'd be huge. Now, because of Yellow Bingo's kind of overextension earlier,
को
the
लीड
levels
देख कितना
actually
इवन
got
है।
flip-flopped. M through Z doing extremely well in experience. You know, Blastoise and Urshifu with 13. Metagross still just at 12.
फ्रेम
Very
स्किप्स
close
हो
to that
रहे।
13 mark.
इस गेम के बाद करता है रीसेट।
Early though, so Rezu gonna have to portal and
राइड वाले के पास
Metagross
स्लीपर है भी
portal
नहीं।
found. That of course gives you vision on where Hoopa is. or at
लैप्रस
least the
नीचे
general
गोल गोल बन जा
locale.
रहा है।
So we can see Yellow Bingo start trying to maneuver around to find that support option and take them out first. And this is a little bit scary.
लग रहा है क्या?
Such good secure that I think
नहीं।
they would be kind of fine just poking down Ray until a moment where they could. I don't know if you necessarily want to flip, but they would definitely have an advantage in the flip.
Blastoise
Instead,
डब्बा।
they're eject buttoning in with that big Unite that didn't really catch that many targets. Coupon Bound's going to come out as well.
पोटैटो मरेगा।
And immediately we see the Inteleon go down. It looks like it may have been to Potato on that Metagross. Oh no,
राइट
another
किया ये तो
KO. M through
अभी
Z
ढंग से
down
खेल
to
लो।
3 members left, but we are
लग गया क्या ब्लास्ट
on the side of Yellow
ब्लास्ट ने पूरा ढक
Bingo.
दिया।
Looks like it's gonna be the
इधर मेटाग्रास में आ गया
Urshifu, they are the only one who can stop this win, this take, and they managed to actually take a KO on 60s, which is huge. That may delay Yalla Bingo enough that many members of M2C can run back. We're actually going to see at least the Inteleon come back, which is a very scary Pokemon to still be in this situation.
Oh, and Ray is at low enough health that Slowbro also making their
ये तो रिवर्स फ्लिप हो
फ्लिप
जाएगा
फ्लिप
शायद
करने की जरूरत थी क्या इनको?
was easily going to be able to stop M3Z
लीड में तो थे।
utilizing this Great
हम
Wasteland extremely well and earning their
1 मिनट पे आया होगा ना गेम का क्या स्टेटस है? आई थिंक क्लोज बटन आया होगा और उनको लगा ये बिहाइंड है।
Anything could have happened even within the final 20
फ्लिप पर
seconds
रिवर्स
of
फ्लिप हो
that
गया ना
game, but
हाँ,
a
चालू
very
एंडर में गया
bold
था
choice to be able to. Oh no, there was even a chance.
विदाउट अल्टी एसपीएन कैसे मारा
But I do gotta say again, I said it right before the raid fight kind of happened. Is that
आउट
the
हो गया ना ये?
second on the side of M3Z was so strong that they
नहीं
had
नहीं
no
1-1 हो
line
गया।
एसपीएन हम गया
either trying to flip it or just
1-1 हुआ 1-1
long enough that Yalla Bingo was forced to flip it, and that is kind of what happened, especially with Urshifu staying alive for just a little bit longer.
Yeah,
अभी
well
फ्रेम
done
स्किप
by
हो रहे हैं
M3Z
गाइस।
to bring this back, but let's bring it back to Doob Snacks and Spraggles
Like
to
Doob
talk about
Snacks.
that last game.
Well, Doob Snacks, you see no Buzzwole, and you see some opportunities here for M through Z.
We were chatting while we were watching the game, Spraggles. I mean, Potato not on Buzzwole makes Yalla Bingo as a collective way, way different.
रुको गाइस, स्टार्टिंग। अब पहले
Teams adjust? What can they do to bounce back? And a question that I've had since February that is relevant now yet again. What Pokemon that isn't Buzzwole can they put in Potato's hands and win some games?
Yeah, I think that's important to try to figure out. The top path inside of Pokemon Unite right now really does feel like one of the biggest deciding factors as to how a match goes. We had that in year 1, of course, with Lucario, and now we have that again with a few very powerful Pokemon. We're going to take a look at some
आते ही सास के भाई का आवाज सुन लिया। सच और युगा बोल रहा है। क्लिप देखना भाई। किसको मिला लास्ट हिट? इंटेल को? उर्शिफू।
Until a moment where they could, I don't know if it's like want to flip, but they would definitely have an advantage in the
ब्लास्टर डब्बा। पोटैटो मरेगा। राइट किया है तो।
like that bring back your old favorites here for game number 3. But Yellow Bingo obviously has been cooking some stuff up. To be able to take down Nouns Esports 2-0 and really fight their way through this losers bracket, I think is very impressive. And I love to see them back here. I would love to see them get an opportunity to go at 4-free again. But they're going to need to take down M-Z right now, who seems to have their number. And that number is spelled B-U-S-S. I'm not even going to try to do it. I know I'll get it wrong.
Well, as we know, letters in the alphabet put together in certain orders does make words. So, one thing, again, you mentioned, and I'm going to stay on Potato because I do think they are the linchpin for this Yalla Bingo team. Garchomp is a great call. However, because Potato has been on Garchomp for so long, everyone in EU knows his Garchomp, right? He is very good at it, but also you don't get any real surprise factor with a Garchomp out of Potato that you might get out of another player selecting Garchomp out of left field. So is it really going to be pivot back to your comfort pick and try and use that to leverage yourself over the finish line? Because it didn't work for him in February.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what they want to do here. Right now, we're going to take a look while our players are getting ready at some of the biggest
इनकी प्रेम कहानी दिखा रहे हैं बैठ के.
EU. Dragapult at the top of that list
Top
with
Pokemon to watch.
200,000
Dragapult.
damage, 25 knockouts. I got to assume that was an early.
कौन सा चपड़ी ने बोला ये?
ये दिखा
I
रहे.
think we're going in the way back machine to dig those statistics out because Dragapult hasn't quite made the same impact maybe in that moment across the rest of the tournament. Unsurprising though, however, is Glaceon being right up there because this portion of the event happened before the most recent patch to really dim down those numbers on the Icicle Spear.
Alolan Ninetales is a Pokemon that was so dominant just last year. You would see it all the time in that bottom path. A lot of people playing this as sort of their bottom path attacker Pokemon. Obviously, there are a few new superstars on the block.
अबे सास के आइसक्रीम में तो क्या हुआ?
In that role instead.
हम लोग कुछ
बोल.
ज़्यादा टाइम खेल रहे थे भाई, सामने वाले म्यू का पता कितना डैमेज आया?
Yeah, there's just something that spells trouble in a hard
Yes.
कितना?
1,70,000.
that very well, and I do think now that we are into this
भाई बंदा
कौन रे? लीडरशिप वाला?
नहीं, वो MJ के वाला.
see A9 creep back up because there are certain corner cases where A9 is going to be your best option, and you don't have to expend an early pick to get that on your team.
Yeah, that's true. No one is going to be counter-picking your Alolan Ninetales. You can get it very late. If the enemy team has a lot of dive to it, you know, A9's Blizzard combo, one of the best things about it, I think, is every time the enemy wants to come in and make something happen, you hit them with that Blizzard Avalanche, you make sure they're shut down, insane amounts of damage in an area as well. So it can really hit multiple people on the enemy team, but I think it's lack of range obviously has been a problem in a lot of these, you know, long-range Venusaur, Solar Beam, Mew, Snipe Shot, Inteleon, Decidueye games. It's just outranged by a lot of these Pokemon.
Sasuke भाई big fan.
Let's button it up for us. I didn't have a laughing fit this
आपकी
time
तरह
because they
fans
called
chat
laughing
में.
gas in the studio. Thanks production. Let's get it over to the casters and let's take care of this game 3.
मेरे फैंस तो लेकिन मेरे ऑफिस पे है, यहाँ कैसे आ गए? If you know, you know.
Sasuke भाई स्मगलिंग कैसे करते हो उसका पास?
इधर बोल लूंगा तो पेला जाऊंगा.
पकड़ा जाऊंगा.
Urshifu, of course, the kind of
वही बात है, पेला जाऊंगा, पकड़ा जाऊंगा.
Leafeon, Urshifu, Pupa.
Also, again, banning out a Pokemon that was on the other side. So eventually we are going to get to that Buzzwole ban. I'm sure they wanted to see, maybe they'll ban Buzzwole, probably not. But that does leave open the Crustle. There's a few other different options. I mean, since there's so many targeted bans,
भाई
it does
क्या
feel like
अंडा
there's-
लेते
yeah,
हैं
that's
यार?
actually that's not what I expected from a first pick with so many things open.
Definitely not. Yeah,
अच्छा तो है अंडा.
अच्छा, but first pick मत दी.
अबे किसी को उसका अगेंस्ट नहीं खेलना भाई. कितना इरिटेटिंग है भाई. स्टार्ट अर्ली गेम में सोच ले. एक टॉप लेनर को वो वापस अपने बेस में भेज देता है. तेरे को नहीं करने दूंगा स्टैट.
Yeah, it's extremely solid. It's been very solid for them. I mean, getting that Umbreon back after it was banned in the last game, I'm sure they're going to be very happy with that on Yalla Bingo. On the other side, we are going to guarantee this Blissey, and there's a lot of good options here. This would be a really interesting one. Okay, we're going to go with the Sylveon. I was kind of excited. Every single one of those would be cool. But I'm curious, okay, never mind. Got my answer. Potato was hovering over this a lot, and we are finally going to see it, especially now that they know a lot of the rest of the comp. It's the Dodrio.
Yeah, they are going to go the Dodrio. You're not going to grab Clefable and Blissey in a game.
No
Buzzwole's
Blast
going to
Rights.
have Leon on your side. So many of the hindrance options that M through Z has that could stop you are gone. Even Crustl's Rock Tomb, you can just jump kick over it, right? Dodrio has options to deal with it. Rezu will lock in that Lucario for the team, whether it lands on them or whoever it moves around to. Lucario will be on the side of M through Z. Now, if we really want to think about that game number 2, Yalla Bingo had won that final team fight, right? We had taken down 4 members. I honestly, there was a lot of talk about, do we take Ray, do we not take Ray? I honestly think Rayquaza shouldn't have been in the equation. The only reason it was that low of HP was because Yalla Bingo kept doing damage to it.
Yeah.
I think they should have left it alone, let it re-heal, back up to full HP. The Urshifu and Sobra were too far away to continue doing damage. You go for a back cap, you try to play that score lead instead. But either way, there were a few macro decisions by Yalla Bingo that put them in a disadvantageous spot.
बंदे चालाक तो है.
क्या
डो
हुआ?
स्पीडस्टर खिलाएंगे इसलिए एलडीगॉस रख लिया ताकि बीटी ना आए इनके ऊपर. देख नाम्ब्रियन फिर एलडीगॉस एस्पियन सब रख लिया जो कुछ भी बीटी दे सकता था इसको डोड्रियो को. कुछ बाकी नहीं रहा. A9 वगैरह छोड़ के 2 ही है शायद A9 और वो मैमोसन. इन दोनों को छोड़ के सब कुछ ले लिया.
You're the one who has to make the move at Rayquaza because we've always got the fear of the back gap. And so, see if that plays out. We go into game number 3 here to see who makes it into
Draft
the
तो even लग
losers
रहा है.
finals. And we are going to be seeing this duo go up top.
पोटेटो अगर अच्छा खेलेगा भाई निकाल लेगा. अकेला ही निकाल लेगा पूरा मैच.
अरे 2 हीरोज तो खेलते हैं बस.
वही बात है. मैं तो पहले बार देख रहा हूँ उसको डोड्रियो खेलते हुए.
Sylveon heads to the bottom path, actually giving Inteleon a lot of clearance in the central area. They took both ball toys, and they will also be grabbing red buff as well. Whereas Karu, I think, just got the Xatu and blue buff. Still not 4 yet, though, thanks to a very aggressive start of the bottom path from Yalla Bingo.
Oh my gosh, and what's even going on up here? 3 members crashing onto this tower, and Rezu alone trying to defend, but yeah, that's a pretty scary spot. You do not want to get KO'd early. It looks like they are just barely going to avoid getting KO'd. Points going to come in from Potato.
ये वीर
तो लुकारियो गया करने.
Out of there, so they got pretty much what they wanted. Could have got a little bit more, but we're going to be playing a little bit
नीचे
safer
जीत
this game, I
गए.
think.
Wow, all right. This pair
ऊपर भी जीत गया.
doing excellent work already. Crustle taking credit for
ऊपर
that
कहाँ
knockout.
जीते?
Karu doing a ton of damage.
पोटेटो वालों का बात कर रहा हूँ. जीत तो गए
Notorious for being
लेन.
the worst early game evolution. One of the worst early game defenders. It takes
5 तो ऑलमोस्ट हो ही गया वो 9 पे.
really becomes relevant. Even
ओ अच्छा तो ये माकी जुत की बात कर रहा है.
options for your second move as well.
हाँ.
Yeah, oh my goodness, Potato trying to get out of there.
अबे आईफोन पे भी क्या बिहाइंड चल रहा हूँ भाई.
And a lot of those heals, which is not the easiest thing on a fast-moving
मरेगा.
Dodrio. In fact, right there, it is going to be going down. Now, I said I'm playing a little bit safer, but now there's a lot of aggression just coming in, trying to really score from both sides.
Drill peck.
Pretty early score leads from Yalla Bingo, both games, but M through Z now scoring.
आई अटैक खेलना चाहिए था वैसे.
Yeah, they have a great start to this game. We saw some KOs at the bottom path, some great response knockouts to Yalla Bingo's aggression on the
बेचारा.
top path. So overall, looking all right, but that's another factor that Yalla Bingo now has is able to work with is that scoring tempo. Thanks to Dodrio and its incredible mobility, of course, its score-based passive is going to give them more angles to try to take advantages over M through Z.
We can look at kind of before these objectives happen, what the levels look like, and it's pretty similar. Yalla Bingo is slightly pushing ahead, which is going to be pretty big, but I don't feel like any team has a significant advantage, and we have seen that happen basically both games so far, where there's been like kind of like a, okay, well, we're going to go to the first objectives, and some Unites may not be there, some might be there, but this one, it does feel like these teams are playing it like a game 3 right now, although still so much pressure on this top path. I mean, Potato's been playing this entire set like he just has no fear, and sometimes it's better and sometimes it's worse. Definitely depends on the Pokemon, but this is continuing it with the Dodrio.
Yeah, you always know what you're going to get from Potato, and that is non-stop put all pedal to the metal. Dodrio,
आज डेट क्या है?
they are going drill peck as well.
16.
Try attack these days, but again, not many crowd control options. It makes that move a little bit safer, but Rezu's been doing a great job of close combating at the perfect time to avoid getting pulled by the Dodrio. You still take some of that damage, but of course you get a little bit of shield and healing in return.
This Regirock, pretty uncontested. I mean, there's maybe a time now. Now once we see the Hyper Voice used, there's no chance of steal, really. So that's going to be a big focus here up top.
Oh, nice ult.
The triple trample coming in, going to help guarantee that Regilecki, and then an extra KO.
ult देखा क्या तूने?
This is going to be one that they're pretty much not going to be able
पहुंचा नहीं होगी तक उधर
They could have maybe broken
बॉटम का ये फ्लिप देख रहा हूँ
but they're going to allow us to go in. They're going to
डोड
try
ult
to get
देखना
more of an overdunk, it looks like. In fact, they're not even going to score at all from the side of Potato.
nice
Going
ult.
down with 40 points, not even going to take a third of that.
I said Potato was good at one kind of math, all right? I'm not giving him any other credit that is deserved or not.
स्कोर डिले कर रहे हैं
Your Regieleki is still having that buff onto the goal zone. despite
एलडी को
being
उसको दो बार
bumped off that 40 points
करवाने देगा शायद में भी
scoring. The Regieleki, so Potato has another score, and of course a huge score.
अरे
lead
क्या
for
इंट
his
किया
team,
भाई
but,
इसने
yeah,
पोटैटो
you
ने
get to one area and all of a sudden you find yourself amongst 4 members of M through Z. That's an
फोर
immediate
फेंक दिया होगा ना
You see, if there's 3 members,
अरे
you go
जरूरत
ahead
ही
and
नहीं
bring
थी
every
उसको
single
पकड़ने की
ball, but once it's the 4th and you just can't see that one, you're a little bit lost. Like we said, extreme aggression from Potato. You know, taking KOs, getting KOs, just all
वन शॉट हुआ बंदा
highest level with the Inteleon, but has given maybe a little bit of EXP to the other team just from getting KO'd a few times.
Yeah, that's true. Constant clears of the central area, though, have put them at that level 10 points. So,
अरे वो लेन जीतने के बाद एड्रेनलिन स्पाइक हो जाता है ना वो वही
giving a lot of
किया
experience
होगा
over.
बंदे ने
However, they're an enormous threat now that this Inteleon is starting to get to that scaling level of damage. It is so threatening. Yes, Snipe Shot maybe was adjusted in the most recent balance patch, toned down a little bit, but it still hits like a
साइड
truck.
में बजा रहा होगा अर्जन वैली में
Not useless because it's still, pretty skill intensive move.
घुस गया बंदा
Aiming it correctly, you got to position correctly. It's still looking quite good, but maybe just not quite as good. Just in those minor moments. But we've got range on both sides. We can see the beams coming out.
लूका का लेवल
See
ठीक ठाक
who's
है
in that tall grass. Not going to connect on any
ऐसा
real
कम
big
कर रहे हैं
targets, but pretty much everybody in the game except for the top path Pokemon are going to be down here fighting
इक्वली है
for
सब
this
लेवलों में
Regirock. They really want it. Marv running up, trying to test the waters, trying
टीम
to see
फाइट
if we
कैसे
find any
निकालो
nice
इसके
targets
ऊपर ही है
to
बाकी सब
start the initiation on, but both these teams are so poke heavy that it doesn't seem like either one
डिफरेंस ये कि फाइटमैन डालते हैं उनके पास और इनके पास और इनके पास भी फाइटमैन डालते हैं तो वही बात है टैक्टफुली कौन निकालेगा उसके ऊपर ही है ये
वो ले गया एसपीएन डोडो नीचे
बेसिक
है
मार मार के मतलब नहीं लग रहा है फ्लिप पूरा पूरी फ्लिप भी नहीं कर रहे लेकिन बेसिक मार पे
अबे तू भाई
वो
2x कर 2x कर
भाई 4 बार 2x कर तो कभी भी नहीं हो रहा है कुछ अच्छा था
Potato will do potato things. The rest of the team can win team fights on their own. It's a great kind of two-fronted approach to Pokemon Unite.
Yeah, and the whole playing on an island thing, it's really dependent again on which Pokemon you play, and I feel like Dodrio is just such
मैं तेरा स्ट्रीम खोलूंगा तो मेरा आवाज रिपीट होगा इधर से
That's really how kind of all the Dodrios play, you know. You're
आवाज
like, okay,
बंद
they're
कर
gonna do
देना
their own thing. Hopefully they're smart about what they do. And when they are, it is terrifying. Like at that moment right there, coming in for that perfect kind of sneaky little
11
KO,
12
just ending that fight as quick as it began. And now though, they're getting caught a little bit far forward. That huge triple trample in. Talk about an island. That is a really far forward
क्या
island.
खेल रहा है
But the
भाई
drill tech to push
डोडो
everybody backwards is gonna be gigantic. Getting a little bit of return KO, but not enough. There is a crossbow there to try and stop a little bit of this.
क्या ही अल्ट मारी उसने बस इसकी अल्ट नहीं आ रही
And it is going to convince them to back up at least a little bit. The Regieleki still is there.
Yeah, it was an ambitious push onto that second goal zone, not because you're in danger of getting KO'd. Honestly, your level lead is so incredible.
इसकी अल्ट तो नहीं आ रही
But it's
बट
because they're going to take a really long
स्कोर
time
दब जाएगा तो मे भी आ जाएगा
now. And in fact, they're actually just going to peel away from it.
लिखा का स्कोर ही नहीं
ये
देगा
फ्लिप भी नहीं कर रहे
Later
ना
moments of this game, after it's done this little leashing
रोटम
maneuver it's doing, when you can threaten towards that final stretch.
मरने से तो लेवल मिल जाएगा ओपोनेंट को इसको दो ही ऑप्शन है स्कोर दबाओ या फिर किसी
अभी
और एक का
रोटम
किल
क्यों
लो
नहीं ले रही है
Early, but it's still struggling to find that 13. So Karma
अभी ले सकता है सर फिर भी नहीं लिए वाओ
This is the situation that you were
What the
talking
fuck?
about the last game where, now especially with
अबे
the
बाकी बंदे तो कर ही सकते हैं लेकिन ये
very
पता नहीं
passively
क्या करते
at this Rayquaza fight
ये
and
भी तो ले
just
सकते
threaten
थे
the
रोटम
matchup. I'm extremely surprised we didn't see anybody focusing on that Regieleki. Regieleki at this
अभी ओपोनेंट तो फ्लिप करने के लिए बैठ जाएंगे पिट में अगर ये लोग अभी रॉटम लेने बैठे थे
through Z maybe could have been a little bit more scared of it happening, but instead
लिए ही नहीं रॉटम
focusing here on the
ये लोग रॉटम लेके डोड्रियो का स्कोर करवा सकते थे टॉप पे जस्ट थिंग मतलब अगर ये लोग ओपोनेंट लोग फ्लिप नहीं किए तो
takes a whole lot of resources to get healed up, especially when you're just running that Eldegoss with that pollen buff. Single target healing, but locked down by M through Z. No potato flank yet. They are just hiding out in that
4
jungle
बंदे
left in the grass.
एल्बोस पे,
No option to move
वो
out,
भी
but of
एक
course we do have that triple trample for a ton of extra movement. Dana
ये म्यू तो रे भी मारता रहेगा अभी.
they're fine being held in that glass box of emotion. They are good, and they are still holding this top right. M through Z is safe, but they have no vision yet. And now finally, they are jumping in towards
Yeah,
the frequency.
भाई वन शॉट कर
Oh,
दिया.
the initiation immediately goes in with the Dodrio going to be taking a double KO off the bat.
ऐसा
Three
नहीं है
going
कि
down.
मीन लुक
That one's going
पे
to
रुका
huge.
हुआ है,
Only
कैसे
one
लोग
member
करो.
left immediately from M through Z, who is just
क्लीन खेल रहा है भाई डोडो.
completely wiped out, and that is going to be the third game and the set going
क्लिक
to
करने के लिए
Yolo
नाइस
Bingo. What a
सकता.
quick way for that fight to end.
Absolutely. Yala Bingo crushing it in this match. I mean, just
पूरा
the
मैच
way
क्लीन
that
नहीं खेला वो, बस वो तब स्टार्टिंग में वो इंटी को मारने के लिए एंड कर दिया था
here it
उसने.
is, 2-1. They're going to be moving on to your
लेफ्ट
losers
वाले राइट वाले
finals,
बहुत पैसिव खेल रहे.
dispatching M through Z. But I gotta hear, Sprague
कुछ
अल्टी नहीं देगा, देखना 4 अल्ट
प्ले
ऐसे
बनाने
हुए
आई
उनका.
नहीं.
with the set.
मतलब लेवल ही ठीक, मतलब लेवल का डिफरेंस जो था ना वो ठीक ही था इनका. मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि 3-4 लेवल डिफर वैसा वैसा कुछ नहीं है. कैसी गेम गया इनका.
Big shouts to Potato stepping up on the Dodrio.
27.
Something else besides Buzzwell that can work
कुछ भी ठीक है. क्लाउस का टीम तो 15 पे आउट हुआ.
very well.
अब गेटलो लोगों का 400 स्कोर था, क्लाउस का टीम का 15 स्कोर था.
हम्म.
And no, of course it wasn't quite as good, but I love seeing the bird. It had the correct amount of ads, and it was dominant throughout this match. Huge win for Yellow Bingo. Continue through this bracket. That's right,
Potato.
everybody. It's a win.
Bang.
Ooh, we got it.
That was a sharp, snappy win they just hit us with right there. I'm glad we are ready because we're just that athletic, Spraggles.
That athletic. We ran all the way over here. I don't know.
आलू ने दिखा दिया
at home,
कि वो जरूरी है हर सब्जी में.
क्या?
to those stairs.
आलू ने दिखा दिया क्यों वो जरूरी है हर
Moving
सब्जी में.
quickly across a quarter mile. Let's get after it.
Yeah, let's take a look right here. We have a fight down the bottom path at this Reggie Rock. Obviously, Inteleon still a massive
Check.
change for, a massive Pokemon here for M through Z.
Yeah, M through Z really tried to fight the best fight that they could. We see the Blisters is going in, but the
Potato
fight was
ooh.
just a bit too strong with Yellow Bingo, really moving well collectively and pushing this.
अपनी इंडिया में भी तो एक ऊ है ना, जॉयस्टिक ऊ.
Joystick ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great pick. A lot of teams aren't going to be banning this thing out, and it's so unbelievably
Best defender of India.
Pokemon, you just don't see a lot of ban priority on
जो
it.
मैच हारने के बाद ही सोलू क्यों में डिस्ट्रॉय खेलने बैठ जाता है.
See some counter picks here. We head into this Rayquaza fight, and things were just looking so good for Yellow Bingo. 2 members down on the side of M through Z. Right
क्रिकेट
here.
ऑन
We see
खेलता
Ray getting very
टिकटॉक की
low.
जैसी डिवाइस खेल रहा है बैठ के. बोलो
Confused.
ना प्यारी है ना
Confident.
खेल है, अकेला खेल रहा है बंदा, जैसी डिवाइस खेल रहा है.
Potato on the Dodrio.
भाई ये सोलो गेम में बहुत टिल्ट होता है भाई, पागलों जैसे खेलता है. माइक वाइक खोल के भरता है. साइको बंदा है.
कोचिंग रैंडम को कोचिंग देता है, इसलिए तो रैंडम लोग आजकल थोड़ा बहुत स्ट्रांग हुए हैं. लेवल अपग्रेड हुआ है उनका.
भाई माइक वाइक खोल के भरता है भाई.
Set that we see a lot less lately. We're seeing way more Tri-Attack. Drill Peck was nerfed a little while back for absolutely no reason at all.
फॉर्चुनेटली बैन नहीं होता इसका, लेकिन
It's still incredibly good.
Yeah, it is. Just the mobility, obviously, it brings, offers a little bit of a different look than Tri-Attack. But when you don't have anything contesting you, really hammering your feet into the ground and keeping you still, you can still do great with Drill Peck and Jump Kick.
Yalla Bingo is continuing their run here through this losers bracket. If they make it all the way to the end, back up to these grand finals, they're going to have to face off against the team that sent them down last month, or actually took them out of the grand finals. They made it through the winners last month. That would be 4-3.
We're going to take a moment. We've got an interview, I believe it's with Sixies. So let's throw Sixies up on the screen so we can do that. Someone can. I can. I'm at the desk. Obviously, we know that. But there's Sixies, a little peace sign. Sixies, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
We can hear you,
buddy.
We can hear you
Sixies.
wonderfully. Your hair looks great. Hair looks great. But let's get down to the real question here. How has Yellow Bingo's bounce back been after February, going into March, and trying to really find your way back into the grand finals?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it's been pretty stressful, I think, because, like we've had to get a new attacker in. Even though it's been great, nothing to Lunder obviously, but like us as a team have been kind of struggling with some stuff I think internally, especially me as well. I've been dealing with a lot of stress. Again, nothing to do with my teammates, just a personal thing. I think like I need to like kind of work on that more. So it's also affecting my gameplay in a negative way sometimes, but. I'm still happy that we, did amazingly. Well, we've done amazingly so far. We still made it this far.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, we're a little bit relieved, but obviously we still have to play. So
How do you guys feel about possibly going up once again against For Free in those grand finals? Do you think you have maybe the solution to what they threw at you last month?
I mean, yeah, I think honestly last month, I will say they adapted pretty well after the winners finals. I will say that we're probably a bit better prepared this time around facing them. So I'm pretty confident we're capable of doing it. Yeah, 100%.
Awesome.
But obviously we still have Outer Banks, and Outer Banks is also a great team. No disrespect to them. So we have to get through Outer
इसकी
Banks
शक्ल ना
first.
देखी देखी लगती है
If that
मतलब
happens, then we can think about For Free.
Absolutely. One step at a time. Before we let you go, is there anything you'd like to say to all your fans out there, Sixties? Obviously, you already know.
इसका सिक्सिस का
You look
हाँ
fantastic. Is there anything you'd like to say to people?
क्या मतलब मुझे पता है तू कहाँ पे देखा है और मैं जानता हूँ तू क्या बोलने वाला है
क्या मैं सच में कहाँ देखा मैंने
Hosting the tournaments. Massive
और
shout out to all our opponents.
अकेला बोलूंगा तो विवाद हो जाएगा
We might
बोलना
still
भाई
face. I
क्या
also have one more note to say.
शक्ल देखी
I
देखी
think
लगती है
people watching the streams, try and
वो
be
तो
more
मुझे भी देखा देखा लगता है लेकिन
people
मुझे पता है मैं कहाँ पे देखा हूँ ऐसा चेहरा
sometimes they do
किसके
very mean stuff.
कौन
Like don't
ब्रीफ जैसा
the players because
कौन
we're all human beings. We all have emotions.
सिक्सिस जैसा
Like
कौन वही
don't try
कौन
and put people down for like losing a game or something. It
हाँ
happens.
वो मैं ब्रेजर्स पे देखा था
Even though your
लड़के का
favorite team
व्हाट
might
द
not be
फक
winning, just be more mature about it because
अब
people
एक
actually do get hurt by stuff you say, and it's like impacting them on a personal level outside of like the whole gaming thing, right? So I want to say that to everyone watching, that if you're gonna write something mean, just really think about what you say before you type stuff, because I think this community really needs it above
I
anything.
agree 100%. What an amazing message. I think a lot of teams and players in North America maybe should be listening to some of that right now as well.
Everyone who's ever thinking about posting something negative, just really think about what you're saying, and like who you're directing your anger or hate towards. Like, 'cause there's no need for it.
All right. Thank you very much, Sixties. I could not agree more.
ये अनाउंस में सिक्सिस को किसको रिप्लेस करके लिए थे मैं भूल गया उसका नाम लास्ट ईयर
Yeah, I don't
वो
know
था
if
ना
you're actually undercover.
रेडमो
Phenomenal message
शायद
that Sixties tried to leave us with before you chimed in right there. We each have our moments. I was laughing a lot before. You just did whatever.
रेडमो
To the point. Be
हाँ
kind out there. Be nice to each other. All that good stuff.
All
I
right.
appreciate that. Which means stop being mean to me when we play games.
Stop being mean to Dubestacks. I think that's very important here, everybody. Let's take a look at what we got coming up here on the broadcast. Here is our bracket. Outer Banks versus Yellow Bingo. Obviously, they were just talking about this. Yes, For Free is on the horizon, but they still have to get through.
अब ये क्या डोडरियो का ये दिखा रहा है स्प्रिंगल्स को डोडरियो के ऊपर बिठा दिया है पिंक कलर का हेड पहना के देसी खेल कर शांति मिलती है।
कुछ बोला था क्या?
कूल लिखा है देसी खेल कर शांति मिलती है, तो मैंने कमेंट किया देख। ये हर्ष कौन है?
याला बिंगू।
प्रोफेसर का क्या हुआ? वो खेल नहीं रहा क्या अभी आजकल?
उसका चल रहा है ना अभी, अमन के साथ ट्राई आउट कर रहे हैं।
हाँ।
अमन भाई wants to play top lane.
ये फील वॉच पार्टी कर रहा है, इसका यूसीएस का मैच नहीं है क्या?
तेरे को पता नहीं क्या ये बैन हो गया?
ना मेरे को नहीं पता। अच्छा यही बैन हुआ है क्या?
Yes.
मतलब वो इंडर का वो ट्वीट तो देखा था मैं, कोई वाईटी का कोई एक प्लेयर बैन हुआ है, मुझे पता नहीं कि कैसे बैन हुआ।
कुछ तो रेसिज्म किया था, वो उससे बैन कर दिया।
क्यूरियस वगैरह भी तो बैंड है ना?
हाँ,
1 मंथ के लिए कि अब पूरा टूर्नामेंट के लिए? लैटिन अमेरिका नॉर्थ, लैटिन अमेरिका साउथ, इनका भी चल रहा है ये फाइनल्स। और ब्राजील।
Welcome back, everyone. The EU March Cup rages on, and we're down to our top 3 teams competing for this monthly title. We got 4 free Outer Banks and Yala Bingo still competing for this one. Wonder Chef, we've seen some sick games already.
We have. Europe has been really fun to watch this season. I'm a really big fan of a lot of these teams. I mean, particularly for me, for free, it's just extremely fun to watch. And I mean, we're not going to be seeing them until later, but we will guaranteed be seeing them later.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, the teams we are going to see next, though, is going to be Yala Bingo versus Outer Banks. Now, of course, we've gotten to see both of these rosters on camera before. They are incredible. I mean, be able to make it to the top 3 of EU, one of the seemingly like one of the stronger regions in our competitive Unite Championship series thus far. These teams are looking fantastic. Potato playing a multitude of roles. Obviously, we talked a lot about how the top path is one of the most important roles currently in the metagame. That matchup is going to be very exciting to watch between, I believe, Levian and Potato.
Yeah, and then, I mean, Outer Banks is such a good story. Honestly, I want to talk about both storylines because this is really good. I mean, Outer Banks, you know, they kind of came in as, I don't want to say like, not like a new team, but like they broke into the top 8 with teams that are obviously quite well known. And so they're kind of like the wild card within this, right? Like, I'm not trying to say they're like, oh, who are these people, obviously. But it's so interesting to see these players like just kind of come into this, I want to say almost like pre-established top set of teams that we saw from last month.
Yeah, a huge showcase of talent, obviously. But now they have one of their biggest challenges in front of them in Yala Bingo, who has been having a crazy good tournament today. We talked about it a little bit. They started from the losers bracket. So being able to dispatch multiple opponents up until this point, well, they've carved a position within that top 3 guaranteed. So, gosh, I can't wait. This is going to be a very exciting matchup, one that I've been personally looking forward to the most. But yeah, we talked a lot about Yala Bingo last set, obviously, because we were casting them. I'm very excited to see Outer Banks again, too, because I think they are very capable of taking down a team like Yala Bingo. I mean, 60s was even giving them credit in that interview we saw, right?
Yeah.
They were talking about how strong they are, and
There's a lot to talk about Outer Banks. One of my favorite things, though, is, I mean, Klaus and Kidtans historically have not been two players that have liked playing together or even liked cooperating with each other. However, they have put their differences aside to form a new team that is doing exceptional. So, very cool credit to the sentiment, I think, that Sixties was saying in his interview.
Yeah, actually, I really want to talk about that interview. Of course, you're totally right. It's super cool to see people that can put aside their differences and just want to play together, right? It's not the easiest thing to find a team of people that you can gel with, that are all good, that you don't have an issue with as far as gameplay. So, being able to kind of be mature, as Sixties said, is very important. But I just want to talk about that interview because that was so great to kind of hear more about the story of Yalla Bingo. Obviously, they've had some amazing dominant matches, some amazing showings, and quite honestly, some very surprisingly disappointing showings, within the past 2 months. And I'm sure a lot about just kind of how they're dealing with the team, about their mental, and that is something that we kind of heard about. So I feel like them and their continual growth over this season, because they're obviously extremely talented players, very fun to watch as well. And I feel like that's kind of my biggest storyline at the moment is like, how solid can they get together? Because they could easily be a top team or the top team if things go correctly.
Yeah, and they made one roster swap in between Aos Cup play-ins and the March Cup. Of course, Lunder now on the roster, and Lunder for Aos Cup play-ins was playing with Klaus. So we're going to kind of see this matchup between those two, obviously former teammates now competing against each other to see who can make it into the top 2 of this tournament. So again, we promised a lot of good storylines within the EU region, and of course we're fulfilling those promises to you, the chat, because you're the most important.
They are the most important. You're always the most important. And you're always right, by the way. All of your calls, completely correct. 100% of the time.
I'm blushing. There's a lot of love. But we are going to send the love over to the Casters as they are going to take over this first match. Take it away, Doomsnacks and Spraggles.
Here we go. Doomsnacks, Yalla Bingo versus Outer Banks. If you're just joining us, I can kick as high as my head. I was doing it off camera a minute ago.
And the reason you can do that is because of the Taibo that I taught you on VHS.
That's right. He taught me Taibo on VHS. Let's move on to this draft. Here we go. Yalla Bingo, Outer Banks. We have a ban from Outer Banks. Obviously, they are first ban Buzzwole. I'm not shocked at all.
कुछ brightness कम करने बोल.
Side of Yalla Bingo. Final ban coming in here right now. And just as Sixties from Yalla Bingo was saying, they have to give a lot of credit to this next team. Yes, for free is what they're looking for. They're looking to win that grand finals. But they have an amazing team they have to go through right here.
Yeah, great bans across the board. Outer Banks doing their homework, getting rid of that Buzzwole, so not available to Potato. I do like the Hoopa ban. That's like if a team might not be as macro strong or as macro oriented as you, it's great to take that off the map so you can use your cooperation to outpace them here. And of course, Umbreon and Leafeon, 2 evolutions that have really been impactful in this game.
Something we're going to possibly see from Potato here. They're hovering this Dodrio right now, and I wonder if it's what they end up bringing into this match. Sixties locking down that Espeon, who we've seen on it basically all day, Eternal as well, and that Eldegoss. I wonder if Yalla Bingo does feel like Dodrio is actually a pretty solid counter into this Inteleon. We're going to have to see how the rest of the draft goes right here as Outer Banks get these next 2 picks. Blaziken being hovered right here, and Klaus right now.
Kidtans.
Uncommitted. There's the Clefable switching out for Lynx.
Inteleon.
Okay, Gravity into Dodrio. We know Potato likes to stay away from the
Espeon.
but good Dodrio players and good engagement players know how to play around Gravity. They bait it out, wait for it to time out, and then they go for that big time engagement. So Potato hovered it before, they went right back to that. They saw the success earlier. They don't have Buzzwole. Let's lock that thing in.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they want to play this Sylveon, I have to say, because I think both Sylveons do really well into a lot of this comp, but Mystical Fire plays around Dodrio pretty well. Like you said, they also have Clefable that could be playing around Dodrio with Gravity, but at the same time, maybe they don't even care about Gravity. Right. Like you said, you know what it is. It's this big space that Dodrio doesn't want to dash into. Maybe they just play a follow-me game, set up some huge moments for their Blaziken and their Inteleon.
Yeah, another thing that you have to think about is Gravity or Follow Me doesn't really protect Kidtans on the Inteleon, because if that's the target that Potato wants, that Clefable, if it's fighting near Kidtans, that means all of those frontlining Pokemon are fighting without the Clefable Moonlight, and they've got a lot of firepower here to be able to deal with that.
Yeah, Yeah, here we go. Yala Bingo, Outer Banks. Of course, the winner of this is going to head to your grand finals to try to take down For Free. If anyone in EU can do it, it's going to be one of these two teams. Looking great today. Outer Banks, I mean, they came close in a couple matches with For Free, and then Yala Bingo has something to prove. Last month, they dispatched For Free, send them to losers.
Right.
For Free comes all the way back through that losers bracket to the grand finals, beats them in a bracket reset. Yala Bingo would love to change the narrative in EU right now.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I chose Yala Bingo to win in February, and after that first set that we watched against For Free, I was like, oh, they are in trouble because these grand finals are all about For Free.
Here we go, our losers finals. Yala Bingo, your purple team. Outer Banks, your orange team. Potato heading up to this top path right here with the Dodrio, possibly looking to get a sneaky stack in early of that attack wave. They do jump in right here. Easy stack as we see Blaziken, just still a Torchic, looking to see if they can do anything to scare Potato away. Clefable looking for a stack of their own. Huge change to the amount of healing if you can get all stacked up on that Clefable.
Yeah, quickly jumping downstairs. I mean, Mew, a Pokemon that is there. K-opener straight to Potato. That's a great target for that, as they're going right on top of Krinsky. Marv looking for some action, playing that Lapras that you and I both think there's other stronger defender options available, but Yala Bingo believes in this Lapras, and they might get Krinsky forcing out the eject button. Even Kid Tan's on the Sobble's getting low, and that's another KO on the Torchic up top.
Things are going great for Yala Bingo, and even though we may not be Lapras believers, I would love to be proven wrong today. You can see this Sylveon jumping up to this top path here at level 5 already, but they're actually going to be peeling away. They may not make it here in time for this 850 birds. They're just making it back.
Yeah, and what's crazy is you have 60s that's also on the Espeon. So, you know, it's two evolutions jumping into the top path. However, getting the better of that exchange so far has been Yala Bingo in terms of the KO numbers.
Look at Tans right here, just relentless. Oh, that boosted. Really nice body block there by the Crustle. Got very close. Points are going to head into this bottom path. Klaus running down here with the Sylveon. Here comes the Mystical Fire, looking to see if they can pick up a KO. But they are playing into a Lapras, which is a big, tanky Pokemon. They're going to need to peel back.
That is a massive Electro Ball out of Mew, level 5, trying to dominate in this bottom path. And this Sylveon, although being level 6, and the biggest thing on the map, is trying to find an impact somewhere, and he can't quite do it. There goes a Combustion. Thank God.
Yeah, there you go. Combustion goes down, and of course, I know that's a huge relief for you because it really does creep you out. By the way, just stop texting me in the middle of the night that you're scared of it. Okay.
Well, if Zoink stopped texting me about it, I wouldn't have to text you about it.
I don't see the logic. I just don't see the logic.
It's a Russian doll type situation here. Potato able to poach some of these wild Pokemon for themselves, and they are slowly getting big too. Silently, though, Lunder, I want to point them out, level 7 and only just glued to the bottom path.
Yeah, glued to this bottom path and out-leveling the opponent on the other side. Only level 5
Lapras
here
बहुत खेल रहे हैं भाई।
for this Drizzile. Getting ready for the My Chemical Romance concert. They are
ट्रैक पिक नहीं कर रहे, पता नहीं क्यों।
They're in their emo
लंदर का
In their emo phase, and that
न्यू
starts with
लेन
this
तो जीत
Zelda
रहा है
Red
अच्छा
goes to
देखो
6 and immediately 6.5. They want to
भाई वो बंदा मार ही रहा है तब से। ये फार्म मतलब छोड़ ही दे रहा है फार्म ऑलमोस्ट। पहले मारने में फोकस कर रहा है। इंटी भी ठीक ही खेल रहा है, वो बचने के लिए खेल रहा है, ऐसा नहीं कि मतलब उसको चाहिए ही फार्म। मारा नहीं है वो अभी तक एक बार भी।
They get the X-Scissors out of the way. Espeon Unite is going to pick up a couple, but this is buying nothing but time. Reggie, Steel is getting low, and it's clutched out quickly by 6.
पोटैटो अच्छा खेल रहा है। ब्लेजिकन के अगेंस्ट अच्छा लेन जीता है इसने। गया इंटी, मे बी बच गया।
Pretty sad there in this bottom path. 165-2. Potato stacking up here in this top path. They left him alone. He's got the 3 hats, and he's got a big-time Unite move ready for this next fight.
Yeah, and Reggie Alecki is going to be a decent one here. Only 2 points off of this goal zone for Yala Bingo, which means there has not been any stacks in for Outer Banks. Can they close this goal zone, though, to make this Reggie Alecki the most impactful? Overheat by Levian doesn't even matter. They get KO'd quickly. That goal zone is gone. Small overdunk, but doesn't matter. They just want to open that up so that thing, Regieleki can go to tier 2. Quickly dispatch those Potato. Here comes the Banks.
Yeah, here we go, pushing forward right here. You saw the gravity shutting down that Dodrio. Inteleon moving back up, firing a snipe shot, but deciding to reposition right here. Crystal still in the bottom path. Blaziken continuing to play a little Stardew Valley and farm up here in this top path as we get ready for a possible fight at Regieleki. Outer Banks is down
Gadod.
every metric right here. They'd love to steal this away if they could, but it's too little too late. Heads over to the side of Yala Bingo.
Listen, Snipe Shot goes a long range, but doesn't travel 3 countries over, and that kid Tans was nowhere near that Regieleki. We're looking for a
Tans
little
का
bit of
वापस
push
आ
here,
गया भाई
and we're looking
कंप्लीट
to pivot a little bit. Potatoes trying to get into some
क्या चीज?
Tans का वापस आ गया वापस भाई एलडीएल क्या मारी इसने ये तो सिंह भाई की याद आ गई जंगल सिम्बियन है ना ये
Everyone from Outer Banks going down, except for the Crustal to join the Black Parade with Inteleon. 300-2 right now, Doobsnacks. Yala Bingo looking like a team possessed with only one goal right now. Make it back to those grand finals and prove that they're the best in EU.
Well, Outer Banks' legs looking a little wobbly, but they haven't been knocked out of this tournament yet. They need to compose themselves, get in their corner, spit in that bucket, get a sip of water, and see what they can do here on this Reg Ice. They've got the visible advantage. Let's use it. We rubble rouse, and we're on top of Lunder. They're going to take the Reg Ice, and Yala Bingo going to defend this goal zone.
Yala Bingo getting ready for a fight here. Nice big snipe shot onto that Eldegoss stuck inside the Rock Tomb right here. Dodrio looking for an opportunity coming on down, and so is the Lapras with a big-time Unite move. There you see the gravity. Lapras moving in right here as they continue to push this fight forward. Nice big Electro Ball picks up one. Dodrio down, Espeon down, as we now see Blaziken pushing towards this goal zone. The Ice Beam freezes them. The question is, will they continue this push or will they run?
Trying to bait in Levine is Marv. They are successful. Now they're caught in the deep waters.
कुछ तो नहीं हो रहा है क्या हो रहा है
You can see everybody that's on their radar. They're going to try and chip up some damage. Overheat doesn't hit anything at all, but Klaus uses their Unite move to try and dance themselves out of danger. Mystical Fire
कुछ ज़्यादा ही हो गया ये लो अकबर
and
लॉस
now Yala Bingo has a goal zone still standing. It's still 300-2,
नहीं
and
जीत
Outer
रहे हैं
Banks leaves empty-handed.
Yeah, really interesting fight there. Outer Banks at least able to get that objective, and it looks like they had some signs of life right there. But again, this is 300-2 right here. We got a little over a minute until Rayquaza, and one of these two teams desperately needs it as we start.
उनके पास अल्ट्स है ओपोनेंट के लोगों के पास और ये बिना अल्ट के पुश कर रहे थे कैसे ही होगा
मारा भाई
Unite is out. Overheat hits Marv. Marv's still at half HP. They can push forward if they want. But most importantly, Outer Banks spaced out. Have they done enough damage to this Regieleki? No.
लेवल्स तो
इसने बहुत
ठीक ही है
लेट मारी है
They get KO'd quickly
इन्होंने
as the rest of Yala Bingo's forced to retreat. Potato goes for an engagement on Klaus, but can't quite get there. Levian is working.
लेवल के हिसाब से तो ठीक ही है टीम फाइट नहीं निकाल पा रहे
भाई
बस
सिक्योर भी ले लिया क्या खेल रहा है बंदा
Just incredible on the side of Yala Bingo. Not a lot of teams playing it lately, but the ones that do just look absolutely insane. One of the highest skill.
अभी गेट लू भैया आएंगे आके बोलेंगे तुम्हारा करियर बर्बाद मैं करता हूँ रुको
Pushing right here, and you can see
गेट लू का
Yala
टॉप
Bingo
लेन
has to decide how they want to handle this. I don't think this is going to be a Zapdos situation, making that goal zone defenseless. Outer Banks going to be able to, sow this right here as you see Yala Bingo taking care of that Reggie in the bottom path.
अभी इनका ऊपर का बेस टूट गया अब नोटिस नहीं किया था पहले
Fight as long as they're able to do enough.
भाई वो एल्डिगोस ने वो हगोड़ा अल्ट मार के भी ये बेस तुड़वा दिया क्या
There's no way they don't take this Regirock off the map. Buying a little time. So they have that shield as long as they can.
भाई दो का गोल है
Yeah, here we go. Getting ready for Rayquaza right here. Obviously, Yala Bingo is in the power position.
क्लाउस तो ये टीम छोड़ रहा है नेक्स्ट
उसकी उसकी ही टीम है वो
Countdown. So we're going to see how Outer Banks wants to deal with
यार
this
मिस्टिकल
fight.
फायर
Both
वाला
tier 1
सिर्फ
goal zones
डोडो
up
के
do
सामने
give Outer
अच्छा है
Banks a goal zone, that they can score on and get a ton of
वो
points.
डोडो की ले लिया है मिस्टिकल फायर लास्ट मैच में वो ये
एक
खेल रहा था हाइपर बॉय
बीच में पोक कैसे
This is
करेगा ये
really a Rayquaza situation. The question is, when are they going to make this fight happen?
भाई ये
30
न्यू बहुत
seconds
फ्री
are
खेल
all
रहा
टीम
है
कॉम्पोजिशन
1 minute 30
टीम कॉम्पोजिशन तो मेरे को क्लाउस का टीम का बेटर लग रहा है
in here actually.
क्योंकि ठीक से देखने से तो ये याला बिंगो वाले का तो बहुत स्क्विशी कैरेक्टर्स है सब मतलब म्यू को छोड़ के म्यू बेस कर लेगा अल्ट मार के बट बाकी सारे तो
एसपीएन की अल्ट अच्छी लगी
खुशी कैरेक्टर इनका ये जो ब्लेजिगन है वो जा नहीं पा रहा है पता नहीं क्यों ये पोटर ने तो अल्लाह वो अकबर डाल दिया। वाह क्या भीम मारा लंडर ने, भाई मजा आ गया भीम देख के। वाह ये भी गया।
भाई लास्ट हिट भी मिल गया है। भाई क्या खेल रहे हैं भाई।
हाँ पॉक्सी से ट्रेनिंग लेके आया बंदा। क्या ही चपाचप दे रहा है भाई ये भीम से भाई। लेबर टॉप लेन पे काम नहीं करेगा तो मैं डिफेंडर खेलूंगा, बंदा ऐसा बोल रहा है। हम लोग का स्क्रीम में भी वो खेल रहा था ना वो टैक्सी। बंदा तो आधा गेम ही टॉप लेन पे बैठा हुआ था, आधा क्या पूरा 8 मिनट ही बैठा हुआ था टॉप लेन पे। बस उतना आया ही नहीं, बस खाली तुम लोग T1 पे पुश करने के लिए वो क्या नाम था उसका, उसको टाइमर पे उठा के लेके आती है। बाकी फुल टाइम टॉप पे ही बैठा था वो।
ये किसकी बात है?
हाँ
क्या तेरी है ना?
मैं अकेला बात कर रहा हूँ फिर इसकी में
2 का बोल भाई। लंडर का डैमेज कितना होगा? 1 लाख से ऊपर होगा। अरे वो इतना ओपन में खेल रहा था और इंटेल का एक भी स्नाइप लग जाता तो एक भी नहीं लगा ना उसको।
So good. I mean, this match I think would be unfair to say was anything but just a Lunder show from start to finish. This Mew looking fantastic the entire matchup, and not just on your typical Solar Beam or Electro Ball secures, chip damage from Solar Beam. The surfs were magnificent from Lunder. Coaching around the Lapras in the early game was an incredible matchup for them. They were able to play very easily into a Crustle, which is one of the best options. So let's take another look at those highlights and watch how this match really went down, because yes, it's a Yalla Bingo stomp, but there's definitely moments.
अभी ये कौन से सबसे कपल आ गए?
इनका मैटर यही है, ईवी जंगल।
कहने का भी थोड़ा बहुत वही था उनका तो। इधर तो फिर भी ये उधर तो एस्पियन जंगल है। सही है, अर्ली गेम गैंग करो, लेन जिताओ। हार्ड पावर स्पाइक वाले मॉन्क्स को ये लेन पे खिला रहे हैं, मतलब लेट पावर स्पाइक वाले को जंगल में ईवी वगैरह ये सब खिला के जिता रहा है। सही है। कोई बंदा अच्छा जोरवक या फिर डोडरियो का जंगल अच्छा खेल देगा, या फिर और क्या बचा खेलने लायक। अबे कोई अच्छा जोरवक प्लेयर होगा तो वो ईवी वाले जंगल को तो काउंटर कर ही देगा।
अरे ईवी
अरे आराम से
बहुत स्नोबॉल ही है अर्ली गेम, और जोरवक का भी मेन टाइम अर्ली गेम ही है स्नोबॉल करना, बट वो लेवल 4 होके स्नोबॉल कर देता है ईवी।
हाँ मतलब ये बोलना तू आके बंदा मार के निकल जाएगा तब तक जोरवक लेवल अप नहीं होगा।
लेन जितवा देगा, मार भी सकता है। जब तक जोरो आएगा 5 के 20 पे वो पीछे खेल लेंगे। ऐसा नहीं कि जोरो
वो भी है
कर सकता, बट मुश्किल है।
Now, game number 2, Outer Banks obviously has to have some kind of a comeback. They're going to make this an entire series because y'all
जोरो को भी काउंटर करते
हैं। ये तो मारने के लिए तो ऐसा से नहीं चाहिए होगा, वैसे तो मैं नहीं मर रहा है ये, या फिर कोई ऐसा अच्छा अटैकर खेलना पड़ेगा जिसको आता है, मतलब जो दूर से मार, मतलब ऐसा इंटेलिजेंट अगर खेला कोई भी वो म्यू फ्रीली खेल रहा है तो वो तो दिक्कतदार ही होगा ना।
म्यू ईवीस के सामने अच्छा, और यही है
average score for Outer Banks is incredibly high. That is an average score of 667.
Yeah, but look at those average knockouts. I think that's maybe my favorite statistic that we are seeing. This is
इंटी का स्नैपशॉट ज्यादा डिबफ हुआ है क्या?
who I doubt they're getting 55 in
नहीं
the match, but
broken है
55 average knockouts for Yellow Bingo to just the 35 that Outer Banks has been able to put together. Obviously, that aggression that you were mentioning is a keynote feature of Yellow Bingo's whole play style. I mean, you enable Potato to get these individual moments, and then even more kind of opposite of these more playmaking defenders when you see the option available. I mean, we're going to Lapras for big moments like that huge Unite move, right? If you know we're going that deep in the well, you know that Marv is looking for a very specific way to play the game.
Yeah, and so that kind of goes back to what I was saying about how I really feel Outer Banks needs to kind of deal with this aggression. And so much of what makes Yellow Bingo and what makes their plays work out is they get this early lead and then they have a slight level advantage and it lets them do things that are a little bit more risky and a little bit more committal than maybe you would expect, but they make those plays work. They're so good at them. That is their comfort zone. So if you can manage to make them below level, it seems like so far from what we've seen of them, they will still try to make those plays sometimes, and sometimes they just don't work out. We've seen when Potato was on the Metagross, slightly not ahead of level, they were kind of getting wiped by just so much damage being focused on them. So I think concentrating in the early game, concentrating on just being able to stay in that kind of like race would be huge for them.
भाई बता रहा हूँ ना आज म्यू को फेस करके तो भाई कैंसर हो गया भाई जो मार रहे हैं भाई जापानीज वाले
फूल ने बोला था
भाई वन साइडेड मार रहा है वो बंदा ऐसे भी नहीं कि हम अर्ली गेम ज्यादा डुबा रहे हैं
Obviously, they have to get rid of some of these power Pokemon on their side. Do we see a counter pick of the Mew? Do they ban it outright? What's going to happen?
It's a great position that Yellow Bingo has put Outer Banks in, because when you're banning a Mew or choosing a Mew and you're not playing Mew to the level that Lunder is, you've just handcuffed yourself. And I think that's an amazing question that Yellow Bingo is forcing Outer Banks to answer here.
Here we go. The Mew is banned. Obviously, Yellow Bingo with the
अबे कल पता है मैं सोलो क्यूब खेल रहा था मेरा बसबॉल में ना 4 हेल्थ रहता है मैं ये हो गया पता है पता नहीं कैसे
वो एड शीन है ना पता नहीं किधर
हाँ
पंजाबी में गाना गा रहा है
सुना मैं वो उसके साथ ना क्या नाम है उस बंदे का दिलजीत हाँ
Makes it an easy gambit for them, and Eternal on this Eldegoss should not be a surprise at this point. Krinsky, we saw them last month play some great tree games.
Yeah, Trevenant, by the way, is just so amazing right now, especially given that we have its other.
देखो माइक टाइसन पता है ना
even though Woodhammer got
या नहीं
it's still really strong.
पता है
पता है
वो फिर से फाइट कर रहा है जेक पॉल से 60 साल का हो गया वो
पब्लिसिटी स्टंट है कि ऐसे ही कर रहा है मतलब
पैसे के लिए
शौक से
जेक पॉल यही करता है ना भाई हर गेम अंडा खेल रहे हैं भाई ये हुपा को कोई इज्जत नहीं है
हुपा तो एशिया में ज्यादा चलता है
नहीं भाई दोरो कॉम्फी
I think Sixties loves Espeon. I don't think that's going to change, and it's actually great into Pokemon that love to dive into you.
आज ओवरलॉर्ड का जोरो दिख जाए
We're going to see what's going to happen.
डैम
We have the Speedster
उनका ओवरलॉर्ड का क्या सीन है वही है ना सब लेके खेल रहे हैं
क्लाउड बस्टर है कौन वैसे मेरे को जानना है उसका मतलब कौन सा प्लेयर है वो अच्छा गेम बताओ मेरे को लगता है फिर से वो लोग इल्यूजन करवा रहा है किसी से वो क्लाउड बस्टर कोई किसी का इल्यूजन अकाउंट है वो इतना अच्छा प्लेयर सीधा सीधी टॉप लेन में आ गया और मतलब ये जीटी में ये लोग हार जाएंगे ना बाई चांस देखना जीटी वाले प्लेयर्स तो लुटानो निकल के एलजी आ जाएगा चांसेस तो है
इनका बैन परमानेंट थोड़ी है वापस आ जाएंगे
मतलब मेरे को तो लग रहा है जंगल बुक का विकेट होगा मुझे लग रहा है जितना वो जंगल बुक या फिर किरियोस का मोस्ट प्रोबेबली जंगल बुक का ही लग रहा है मेरे को।
नहीं भाई, विकेट तब होगा ना कि वो गंदा खेल रहा है, गंदा थोड़ी खेल रहा है वो।
गंदा नहीं खेल रहा है, गंदा तो नहीं खेला लास्ट मैच में, बट स्टिल ईवी खेलने से तो
अरे मेटा ईवी है ना।
बात वो भी है।
Banks, your purple team. Yala Bingo, your orange team. One game away from heading back up to these grand finals that they were in last month on the other side, the winner's side. And now they're going to be possibly facing off against For Free if they can take down Outer Banks here.
A very unique split. 3 EVs on the side of Yala Bingo, and EV-heavy teams have been doing well in these tournaments, Spraggles, because they power spike so early.
ये वाला मैच अगर हार गया तो क्लाउस का तो
भाई
जोरो को
Leon इतना थ्रो क्यों कर रहा है? मरेगा।
The Glaceon is online, and now Krinsky is just a little phantom looking in trouble.
Man, it feels like they're playing so well.
ये स्पीयर वाला है क्या?
I think Yala Bingo is just winning the bottom
देख
half
साथी
every
अभी तो
time.
बात
अभी
कर रहा था
तक
ना, जोरो मार
Against
देगा।
Outer Banks.
देखते हैं कैसा
A
चलता
real
है।
tough position for Outer Banks. They have a great bottom path. We asked the question a little
स्पीयर
earlier.
वाला
वही बोला मैं, अगर ये तो फ्री मैच होना चाहिए इसके लिए। देख 3 ईवी है इनके पास।
28,000 damage.
That is a boatload of damage.
3 ईवी मतलब एक अम्ब्रियन है वो छोड़ उसका बाद, बट स्टिल 2 तो फ्री मॉन्स ही है। अच्छा तो खेलना चाहिए क्लाउस को। टॉप चला गया।
कॉमन पे वेट कर रहे हैं वो ऊपर। जैसा इनका अर्ली गेम गया था ग्लेशियन का लेवल तो नहीं हुआ इतना। 3 किल मिली थी इसको।
Able to grab the blue buff while still kind of insulating your goal zone from getting ran at and scored on is terrific play by Lunder and Glaceon to make sure that they're getting what they need but can insulate this goal zone. Marv playing super far forward, maybe looking for an opportunity as Zorak is just in the wings.
Yeah, Zorak just getting ready here for this.
डोड्रो का लेवल कैसे हो जा रहा है टॉप पे, मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा है। मैं खींच के लेके जा रहा है, बट
अरे
लुकारियो को पहले खींच देना चाहिए ना।
लेन जिता के गया ना वो।
ना अर्ली गेम से ही वैसा हो रहा है, ये बंदा भाग रहा है सिक्योर।
फुल इन डॉज।
ये तो गया ही नहीं स्टैक करने, ये गया ही तो नहीं स्टैक करने एल्डिगॉस का सामने।
देख कितना वो है, इवन टाइप ऑफ।
लॉक ऑन हो गया, इनका स्कोर है अच्छा है।
आगे देख,
मार देना चाहिए रे। नाइस रे, मार देगा। वाओ, क्यों मुंह खोलता हूँ मैं।
मिड
अच्छा,
गेम
मार
में
दिया।
जोरो को लाइक पूरा गेम ऑफेंड करना चाहिए, तभी वैल्यू निकालते हैं।
वही
टीम फाइट में नहीं
फेड होना पड़ेगा। बंदा अगर वो दे दिया ना लेवल, बाई चांस दे रिस्की होगा वो प्ले।
पर उन्होंने ग्लेशियन के लिए वो मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा। ग्लेशियन तो सिर्फ आउट रेंज होगा।
लीफियन बैंड था क्या?
ग्लेशियन बैंड होगा, हो सकता है। ग्लेशियन की जगह म्यू ले लेते ना, बेटर रहता। या
हाँ,
सिल्वियन नहीं, सिल्वियन तो ठीक था।
सिल्वियन नहीं था, लीफियन या फिर म्यू ठीक था। अगर म्यू सॉरी लीफियन ओपन था तो। सही खेल रहा है क्लाउस।
पैर तो नहीं टूट रहा इनका। मरेगा, मर गया।
इसका टॉप लेनर मेरे को, इसका टॉप लेनर थोड़ा ये लग रहा है।
मर गया।
पुश बेका फालतू का पुश कर रहा है, अभी जरूरत ही नहीं है पुश करने का।
डोडोल्ड भाई ले गया भाई, ये आउटप्ले कर रहा है बहुत गंदा।
पोटेटो ना इसका लुकारियो का अर्ड फार्म करना चाहिए था। अर्ड फार्म करके लास्ट हिट लेने का ट्राई कर। 8 लेवल का क्या है सिक्योर करेगा तू, इधर ले ही जाएगा वो।
कमबैक तो हो गया, दोनों टावर्स गए।
as they are getting stacks in, and now they just need to get that big last bucket of points in.
Oh, look at
क्लाउस घुस भी नहीं सकता इधर, घुस के भी किसको मारेगा?
वॉचिंग
इजेक्ट
के
यूज्ड।
लिए मजबूरी
They can really wait as
और
long
इजेक्ट
as they
था
would
भाई।
like to do it. But they decide it's time to score. Dodrio now level 11, which gives you this plus on drill
क्या
peck.
चीज?
Your drill peck is now going to
बोल
heal
रहे
you
एक
every
एक
time you
वॉचिंग
hit
के
your
लिए
enemies. Have I
मजबूरी
told you
स्ट्रीम।
that I like Dodrio, by the way?
Dodrio is truly phenomenal, and remember, for those of you at home, Spraggles rides a Dodrio side saddle.
Have to ride it side
भाई ये
saddle.
2
Can't
मिनट
move
में
my
पूरी
legs
गेम
up with a
पलट
whole
लेगी।
big old saddle right there. I'm still too tiny, but I'll
One day,
सेम
my
हमारे
friend,
साथ
one
होता है
day,
ऐसा।
Outer Banks looking to get
सेम
on top of this Reggie Rock quickly. Marv in the front line, Krinsky doing a good job again, getting the spacing the rest of the
टीम
team
फाइट
need.
तो घंटा नहीं
Pulls
जीत
out
रहे हैं।
the
अबे ये बंदों ने क्या किया, ये बंदों ने क्या किया, इन्होंने कॉल दिया होगा एक बंदे को पकड़, कोई भी एक को पकड़ जो फेड है, और वो वही किए, उसी को मारे पकड़
दिख
के।
रहा है तुझे
मतलब टारगेटिंग
दोनों
अच्छा है।
कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा अभी
किसी एक
दोनों।
अबे नहीं, चांस है रे करने का, बट वही बात है, टीम को हेल्प करना पड़ेगा इसको, नहीं तो नहीं होगा। ये देख अम्ब्रियन से फंस रहा है अभी ये।
भाई ये ड्रेड छोड़ के ऊपर गोल गोल कर लेता, 2v1 कुछ करते ऊपर तोड़ते।
इसका लुकारियो ठीक नहीं खेल रहा है इसका।
लूका ने 1v5 हो गया। क्लॉस
इसको
का
जो करना चाहिए था लुकारियो को वो
क्लॉस
कर
टीम
नहीं पा
लूका
रहा
नहीं
है।
खेल रही है।
हाँ ना, ठीक सही बोला तू, वो वैसा लुका नहीं खेल रहा है, खेलना चाहिए इसको। वो डोड्रियो से डिफ खा गया टॉप पे, क्या खा सकता है, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं खा
बहुत
सकता
लेवल
वो।
3 लेवल ऊपर
बट
है भाई सब उससे।
अर्ली गेम डोड्रियो को कैसे सिक्योर मिल सकता है अगर वो बेस पे ही खेल रहा है तो? क्लाउस के लिए बुरा लग रहा है, इतना मारा था उसने। अर्ली गेम मारा तो था भाई वो।
मार रहा है अभी, मर जाएगा बट
अभी भी मार
भाई यही भाई वो होता है,
किल
डिप्रेशन से
दे दिया
होता है।
इसने।
ओ भाई इंटेलियन पोकेमॉन यूनाइट हो गया इनके साथ।
अच्छा
नहीं पोकेमॉन यूनाइट हो गया इनके साथ। 15 हो जाएगा ये। बात पता है क्या है, अभी इंटेलियन कैरी कर सकते हैं मैं, अगर डोडो को ये शट डाउन कर दे पहले।
डोडो को निकाल दे ना, नहीं डोडो को निकाल दे। हाँ इंटेलियन का एक दो स्नाइप अगर अच्छा पड़ जाएगा ना, सारे वन शॉट बोले, हाफ एचपी जितना हो जाएंगे, और फिर जोरो अपना काम कर देगा। लुकारियो को बस अगर यहाँ ऐसे अगर ये डोड्रियो को अगर उड़ा देना, जैसे ये डोड्रियो को अभी उड़ा है, ऐसा करके उड़ा दे तो इनका गेम है, तो नहीं है।
ग्लेशियन भी 14 लेवल हो गया।
बस अकेला खाली क्लाउस ही ट्राई कर रहा है, मतलब देखना हर ऑब्जेक्टिव में क्लाउस पहले पहुंच रहा है।
भाई इंटेल 15 हो गया। स्नाइप शॉट लगने पे है भाई, ऊपर से मत ले भाई, वो डोडो देखो हमेशा मार रहा है, नीचे से जाता।
पर इनको मेरे हिसाब से तो इनको दो बंदे मार के, कोई भी दो बंदे मार के इनको फ्लिप कर देना चाहिए।
भाई वन शॉट कर दिया ट्रेव को, इन पे हीलिंग भी नहीं है। मटका हो रहा है भाई, हर गेम फ्लिप हो रहा है भाई, हर गेम।
By Trev one-shotted.
मटका भी इन्होंने चालू किया है ना, राइट वालों ने।
लेफ्ट वालों ने स्टार्ट किया है।
नहीं भाई राइट वालों ने किया।
वो स्मोक के अंदर बुला रहे थे तो इंटेलियन ने उसके साथ साथ प्ले किया, मतलब वो भी बेसिक अटैक मारने लग गया, तो फुल फ्लिप तो लेफ्ट वाले नहीं किया, मतलब क्लाउस ने किया। क्लाउस और ये लुकारियो ने किया एक साथ।
ट्विच पे तो पीछे भी नहीं कर सकते। डैमेज वाला अंडा था ना ऊपर से ये।
Fraggles and Snacks Automotive, we've got you covered.
Yeah, we really do have a lot of great deals, and I hate to make this.
अबे ये टॉप लेनर डिफ नहीं खाता तो हो जाता है इनका
business, but I
तो ये लोग तो लाइव
जीत
खेलने
जाता है
वाले हैं ना
can really help us out.
We wouldn't have to say it if everybody showed up.
वाईटी वाले
You know what I mean?
कहाँ पे वो
The thing I hate about having a business, if everybody just supported
अभी ये कौन
कहाँ पे खेलने वाला है
लाइव
I feel you. And yet we get on camera every single day anyways.
लैन पे यूएससी
नूब है क्या भाई लाइव मतलब स्ट्रीम पे लाइव
But it just didn't matter here. What a showdown. Yalla Bingo 2-0.
स्ट्रीम पे लाइव नूब टीम वाईटी
Yeah, those looked amazing for Yalla Bingo.
ओके 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 ओ समझा समझा हाँ समझा समझा हाँ
Cruise to the
हाँ हाँ वो तो लाइव खेलने वाला
ये सेमीफाइनल्स था क्या
this thing back on over to Zoinks and Wonder Chef to break down all the action.
ये लूजर्स ब्रैकेट का था लूजर्स फाइनल्स था ये
वाओ
Between these two teams, Outer Banks and Yalla Bingo, but Yalla Bingo, I mean, they looked untouchable in that set.
Yeah, that was such an incredibly strong set.
अच्छा एक सेकंड लूजर्स फाइनल्स ये था मतलब वो एम माकी चूत वाली टीम जीत गई थी ये आला विंगर्स से
To kind of fight back and then things just completely disappeared. I mean, there were a lot of back and forth for a game that ended up with a 1,000-point difference. That is 4 digits. It makes the numbers in the game look weird.
It does.
अच्छा म्यू बैन था ये
And I
गेम
mean, let's face it, Outer Banks kind of saw the
म्यू
writing on the
लीफियन
wall.
लीफियन भी
Team fight, their last win condition goes away. Yalla Bingo able to run it up, and they walk away with that huge win. A fantastic showing from them. Game 1 and Game 2. Game 1 definitely felt a little more competitive at that moment, but
अबे लुकारियो नहीं आता तो ब्लास्टर्स ही खेल लेता बेटा
I actually think there's an argument for the opposite direction.
अबे
I feel like
ब्लास्टर्स
there
के लिए भी
were
अच्छा ही गेम था ये
strength of teams going into the final fights. I feel like this one was maybe more competitive. That could be a hot take. That could be completely wrong. But I mean, there were a lot of really high levels on both sides. A lot of really big threats. It's just they just destroyed it. And they
गैरेडोस भी कोई पिक नहीं कर रहे मे भी इसी वजह से ये ईवी वगैरह खेल रहे हैं ना गैंग होगा लेन पे ठंडा वाला इसलिए गैरेडोस नहीं खेल रही है
Kid 10s look fantastic. Zorar Kofe, I think early game actually was a huge sign of life from Outer Banks. We definitely saw some validity to that composition in particular.
गैरेडोस के लिए तो
As the game dragged on, it felt like
पॉइजन है ये बजोल और ये ईवी
found their way around that
किसी लोग मार के चला जाएगा इसको गैरेडोस को
वो होएगा ही नहीं कभी
जिंदगी में नहीं हो पाएगा वो बनी से एक अच्छा खासा बैलेंस है ना कभी भी डेवलप नहीं हो पाएगा
good fight for a game. Again, that was a 1,000-point difference. Sure. Where, you know,
एक बजोल रख दे एक डीपीएस वाला सपोर्टर रख दे और एक ईवी जंगल करा दे कोई भी ईवी जंगल
2 मिनट
और उसका गेम का डी एंड हो गया उसका
exactly like you said, I actually feel like a lot of the reason why Yalla Bingo won was the draft was so good, it was so smart, and they had great counters to the dive, which just turned the team into a one-sided 5v3 fight. You can see right here the level 15 that I was just talking about, but yeah.
A great call out there too. Inteleon, the best secure that they had an option. Dodrio targets them immediately and gets that stun. Shuts down that snipe shot opportunity. But our player of the game is going to be 60s on the Espeon, dealing out 92,000 damage. One of their higher score lines that we have seen so far in the tournament from them. 182 score as well and 9 knockouts. This stored power Espeon, I mean, if you weren't ready for it in this tournament, you best get ready because this Pokemon is everywhere.
Yeah, and to be able to get one of your highest damage stat lines that you've had in this tournament against potentially the scariest dive that you fought in this tournament is very impressive.
Yeah, it's true. It is an incredible, incredible showing from 60s, but there's actually a few players I really wanted to talk about, and for that, I gotta go over to the fancy TV we have here at the studio, so I'm gonna just bear with me. This is a long walk. It's a couple of miles, as Spraggles and Doob Snack said. We are going to be taking a look at a moment from game number 1, actually. This is right after the Reggie Alecki fight. And there's a few Pokemon that I really want you all to focus on, but mostly, I really want you to focus on where Lapras starts this fight. If you take a look at the minimap, we have Lapras all the way in the bottom of the map. And they are not going to stay there, trust me. If we can roll this clip and just watch where the Lapras is moving throughout this matchup. You see them rotating through the middle of the map. And if you watch out right here, you see this Lapras Unite hit up 1. But it's not there. If we could pause it just for a moment here, we watch where Lunder goes and gets in position. We unite move with that Invincible and with the Surf, and we charge into the midst of the enemies. And if we could just play it one more time, we see Lunder move all the way into the backline and then immediately surf out 2 targets, and it's followed up by a Dodrio drill pick. The combination that this Mew allows Lunder to accomplish is fantastic, and we see the huge overdunk, and Yalla Bingo start to run away with this game. But a Surf from the backline, Lunder follows up with a Surfs of their own, and we see Yalla Bingo take off and win the rest of the match. Wonder Chef, thoughts on that one?
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. And honestly, we were talking about it earlier. That is the big roster switch, and I feel like that's something that's really added so much to
that's true.
to Yalla Bingo. And just having like one key piece either there or not there for a particular month or tournament is so big. And I love that they get to have that extra little bit of flexibility.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw so much from the Mew, and then from there's honestly so much that can be said about it. But I love that moment too. I know when we were back looking at that, I was like, that was sick.
It was sick. And we love talking about this team so much. We're going to continue to do so because they are moving on to the grand finals against For Free, which is, you can look at our updated bracket. EU almost concluded for the month of March. 2 more teams left to face off against each other. Some surprises, though. Honestly, Copy Baba's losing in that first round was one of the biggest surprises for me. And, of course, Nouns Esports finishing out 6th. Yalla Bingo with a very, very respectable, at least second place finish. But credit to Outer Banks, top 3 in their first tournament as a full stack of 5.
Yeah, again, well-known players, but to see them together, how many times have we seen well-known players get together and it's like, oh, they actually just don't gel together at all, even though they're all good. So, yeah, they did great. However, I do have to say, we've kind of set up for a repeat situation. Obviously, repeat rematch for Grand Finals, which is great to see. Again, it was a little bit of a flop last time for Yalla Bingo, but they seem like they are in a better place this time around. And a lot of teams actually with some relatively similar placements so far.
Yeah, they're locked in. And of course, if you have seen some of this competition and want to be a part of it, you can. Right now, registration for the April Cup is open. Start.gg/Pokemon Unite is the spot to sign up. You can compete in any Unite Championship Series region, OC, LATAM, Brazil, North America, of course, EU, where we are now. And just one more match remaining for the European region. Grand Finals is going to be coming up right after this.
हेलो सास्के
अबे ये एलजी वालों का विकेट लगा है क्या? ये ब्रोफी बोल रहा है एलजी वालों का विकेट लग गया है, पता नहीं कैसे।
ट्विटर देख
वही चेक कर रहा हूँ मैं खोल के।
भाई ग्रैंड फाइनल पहुंच होने वाला है।
लंडर ट्वीट किया है टॉप टू वी वांट मोर।
Versus Yalabengo. Obviously, that's impossible because Yalabengo starting in the losers bracket, making it all the way to the grand finals on an
Announced तो out हो गए। I don't know what to say anymore. Good luck for the rest of the teams. यूटाउन ने लिखा है। मेगू के हाथ से टॉप लेन ले लो, क्लाउस को दे दो, फिर से जीतने लगोगे। सिंपल एज दैट।
तो थोड़ी ठीक करेंगे।
किक नहीं करना, मेगू को किक कर दो ना।
काश इतना इजी
सिक्स मैन बना लो,
काश इतना
सिक्स
इजी
मैन बना लो।
तो किक करना।
अडेसो सपोर्ट खेल रहा है ना उधर।
क्या?
अडेसो सपोर्ट खेल रहा है ना उधर।
हाँ टकला
Seeing those two clash again and again is going to be awesome. I think we're setting up for a very fun season-long storyline between these two rosters because they are carving.
अडेसो, ब्रव, मेगू, यूटाओ और फिफ्थ कौन है उनका? जर्वेस।
पागल है क्या? यूटाओ की टीम में
कौन है?
ब्रव
ब्रव, अडेसो, मेगू, यूटाओ और पांचवा कौन है? कौन कौन?
टून स्लिम।
टून स्लिम।
Interview for you all. We have the coach of EU team for free with us here in studio.
कोच को बुलाया हुआ भाई स्टूडियो। अच्छा
I was so
जंकी
excited that you were able to join us. Junkie, obviously you are the coach of this team I just mentioned for free in the European region.
कोच क्या होता है भाई?
I have to ask, Junkie, you were one of the first people in the community to really commit to the idea of
हम तो खुद अपना दिमाग लगाएंगे गेम में।
गेम में तो खुद ही लगाना है, वो बाहर से बताएगा क्या बेटर कर सकते हैं।
I would say there's a difference between what a coach brings and what I bring. You know what I'm saying? Gotta hype myself a little bit up there. I would say in Unite because the scene's still developing.
साइतर भी अच्छा ही है, वो क्या नाम है?
साइतर खेल नहीं रहा इनके रीजन में तो।
अच्छा है साइतर, वो शॉर्ट डांस वाला साइतर। टैंक ही है थोड़ा, डबल हिट। हाँ हाँ
जापान में ज़्यादा चलेगा।
जापान में एसासिन मॉन्स ज्यादा चलता है ना, वही बात है। मामे तो फुल प्रैक्टिस कर रहा था उसका स्ट्रीम में साइतर। स्पैम मतलब गंदा स्पैम कर रहा था वो।
भाई मैं एक पूरा हफ्ता रैंक ही नहीं खेला ना के बराबर। फोकस ही नहीं कर पा रहा।
तेरा वो शॉर्ट हुआ
है, आज बात हुई है। थोड़ा तो स्ट्रेस रिलीफ हुआ।
पैसा लेंगे कि ऐसे ही मतलब नॉर्मल जनरल जो फीस होता है वही लेंगे?
पेड इंटर्नशिप ट्रेनिंग भी करूंगा ना अभी इनके पास। सही है, स्किल भी
ना ठीक है ठीक है।
You know, and they also had some internal issues, which is kind of why I was brought in as one of the main parts besides working on communication with them. And I think some of the biggest things that any team could kind of implement is realizing that you're all working together to solve problems and that you shouldn't be personalizing those problems. For example, if you have a support player that's struggling with getting vision or getting caught out or things like that, instead of attacking the person, the team as a whole should be trying to attack the problem. What can you do to shot call for the team that maybe helps them get into a better routine of who should be checking for
सुन रहा है
vision,
इसकी
getting
बात?
a communication structure in where the support player knows like
ना
30 seconds
म्यूट कर रखा हूँ, क्यों, क्या बोल रहा है?
भाई यही तो सुनने लायक है टीम के बारे में क्या करना है, मतलब बेटरमेंट के लिए.
and I think just like trying to remove your ego from it as much as possible, just trying to be very problem resolving oriented and just set aside personal stuff is the best way to really
मेरा और भी मेरे को डिफिकल्ट हुआ.
That makes a ton of sense. And Junkie, you've now worked with a few teams that you've already mentioned, currently working with For Free, and the results are already there. You were able to win the AOS Cup play-ins with this roster. But I gotta ask, is this your favorite roster to coach so far? And, is the sky the limit? How far do you think this team can go?
Yeah, I feel like it would be like a pretty bad answer if I said no, but I can actually be truthful, and this is the favorite team that I've ever coached. A lot of these players I've known since Season 1, either working with them during Season 1 Worlds, where I coached a team making up of Gek, Zervez, Klaus, Zanti, and Sheldon, and now I'm coaching 3 of those players in this For Free roster, so we have this established relationship, we know how we work together really well, and I would say I'm very confident in our ability to really make a really good run in EU. I would love to consistently win every single cup, obviously, and then also win Worlds. I think we have the potential for it. It's just a matter of, I think, being out of our own way and also being disciplined and consistent enough to, when you're at the top, doing things to make sure you stay at the top, because I think you often see a lot of people being consistent with their performance at getting the #1 seed in a monthly cup back to back to back, and I'm just very much focused on, even though we won February, it doesn't really mean much unless we can kind of keep that consistent structure in place, doing the things that got us to that win consistent, and not kind of
That makes a ton of sense, and I, for one, am super excited to watch what For Free and you and the team can accomplish this season. So best of luck, Junkie, here in the March Cup Finals, and then, of course, for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great to hear from Junkie in that interview. A lot of insights brought to the table about how to hold on to your mental in important matchups, what to look forward to, what's best practices inside of game, or when you're in those practice sessions, those VOD reviews, all of that. So important to be creating a successful team. I'd say For Free fits that bill already, as they are sitting on the grand finals with that winner's set advantage.
Yeah, looking to repeat their win, but it is really interesting to hear all of that. First of all, can I just say, amazing interview. That is one of my favorite interviews I think I've done. That was so much good information and great messages there as far as removing your ego.
I thought I did super well, so thank you so much.
Great job.
Really confirming that.
No, I'm just kidding. I was going to make a joke about how we all need to remove our egos when we make fun of you for your power rankings, and just work on being better as a team to make your power rankings better, but you stole it from me. So I won't make that joke, That's how it works. But no, I really do have to say, Yalla Bingo, it's really interesting because they have been doing so well, but in grand finals of the last month, they kind of crumbled. And again, I'm not saying this is an insult to the team. I think they are amazing, but clearly there was something.
भाई इतना ज्ञान क्यों दे रहे हैं? बंद करें जल्दी.
Like the mental strength of how to kind of stay solid versus a team that has to kind of use actually those kind of unique, viewpoints to be able to do that and fight their way back in this grand finals. I feel like it's a really cool dichotomy.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And I like this play comparison. Sarayu up against 60s. Kind of tough to call out who's playing central area most of the time for Yalla Bingo, since they split that central area so often. But Sarayu taking a lot of those full clears on their side. 14 MVP votes for Sarayu, 12 for 60s. Of course, those were awarded through damage and score, a collective number of a lot of different varieties at the game tracks, but still is showing quite a bit of success for Sarayu.
Yeah, this is actually a surprisingly low number, though, I do have to say, from a lot of these for Sarayu, because we've seen Sarayu be very dominant, but it might just be a situation where when Sarayu is winning, they don't do a bunch of damage altogether, right? It's just like wins. But like I've said, obviously, pretty much everybody in these grand finals, literally everybody in these grand finals, amazing players.
Yes.
Soraya has been one of my favorites to watch. Just the depth of characters being able to play like different Pokemon, different roles, different it's so much different flexibility. And we saw that with, I believe, a different Pokemon every single game in last month's Cup, which is ridiculous to see. And then we've seen plenty of others this time around. So. Just really cool to be able to see that, which really does help when it's like, oh, well, something's just not working for us, and rather than spiral out of control, you're like, let's just go Talonflame.
It protects your draft as well, right? You're very comfortable in those later moments of the draft if you have a player as flexible as Soraya, not to mention they have Gatlu on that roster as well. Yeah. I'd say historically one of the most flexible players that we have seen at the top level of competitive Pokemon Unite. Now, Yellow Bingo maybe not as flexible, but we've seen
Yellow
Potato
Bingo,
play
नाम तो
things.
अच्छा है
We'll get
टीम
to
का.
see what they play in this matchup, though. Time for Spraggles and Dubes next to bring us into the draft of Game 1.
Camera swing. Look
Camera swing.
गैटलू का टीम का नाम तो गैटलू जैसा ही है, फॉर फ्री.
This is Yellow Bingo. Here we are. It's Groundhog Day from February, but it's a little different this time. But it's Groundhog Day, but this is my pitch for a movie. It's Groundhog Day, but it's different because for free coming from the winner's side.
Yeah, because it's March.
That too.
There you go. For free going to be in the winner's side. The momentum with Yellow Bingo, they've had to play more matches, of course. For free has been on ice. We saw these roles get flipped very quickly in February, and we talked about the mental.
Intel ban,
Yellow Bingo,
Leafeon,
we actually
Buzzwole,
discussed
Truffle
after the
ban.
tournament. That might be the end of Yellow Bingo because that was a
Umbreon को ज़्यादा
wild
इज्जत नहीं दे रहे.
rumbling at the end of that. But they bounced back. They assured me because I reached
Umbreon,
out to a
Hookah,
couple.
Blastoise,
We are
first
good.
pick.
Our mental strong. We missed. We took our eye off the prize, but we're ready for it.
Mew
today.
लेगा
They
लंडर
look
का.
like it too, coming from this losers having absolutely amazing games right here. Gatlu
गैटलू का टीम में इंटी आ सकता है.
Intel ban है.
wants to play without
ओ इंटेल बैंड है. हाँ.
a real power pick. Sixie's locking in this Glaceon right now and Lundaroo on the Mew,
भाई जोरो की
which is
जगह Venusaur ले
very,
लेना.
very scary.
Yeah, we're waiting to see where exactly
Please,
Soraya looks to
Venusaur.
go, and that'll drive the conversation
भाई.
with Potato, of course. But unfamiliar, or excuse me,
भाई
very
Slowbro
familiar
और
to us with
Venusaur
fans of
इतना
Italian
free है ना
also
एक साथ.
Leafeon and Buzzwole. No
Like
real
इतना free.
surprises there.
Yeah, absolutely. We take a look at for free. Their last pick being this speedster Zoro.
भाई इसको भी पिटना है क्या क्लाउस जैसा? ना ये पिटेंगे नहीं मे बी.
Right into Glaceon as well. These are Pokemon that can get away from a lot of enemy
ये
players.
पिट गया तो हो गया कांड फिर.
अगर मैं होता तो मैं अंडे की जगह क्लेफेबल लेता. क्लेफेबल, हाँ क्लेफेबल और वीनू.
हाँ
थिंक बेटर रहता है
कर
बट
सकता है.
ग्लेशियन अभी पता नहीं है मेरे को कितना वो है. बियर वाला पोटेंशियल नहीं पता उसका भी मेरे को.
Yeah, it's going to have to be 60s on the shred, maybe with Icicle Spear, of course. Internals resets are going to have to be great with Potato to get them out of jail for free. But
अंडा उसने लिया होगा लेन जीतने के लिए और डोड्रियो को स्टन देने के लिए,
तो तेरे को किसने
क्योंकि
बताया
वो
पहले?
खेल रहा है दिल से.
तो कैफ की बात तू भी था क्या बीसी में तब जब कैफ ने बोला था
क्या चीज रे?
कि रेंज सपोर्टर लेन जिताता है.
वो तो मेरे को पर्सनली ऐसा ही लगता है. रेन सपोर्टर से क्या होता है, कंटिन्यू डीपीएस पड़ता रहता है ना लेनर पे, तो एट वन पॉइंट तो उसको रिट्रीट करना ही पड़ता है, और जो रिट्रीट नहीं करता वो तो मर ही जाएगा उधर ही. क्योंकि देख अगर तू सपोज तू एक ब्लास्टर्स और एक क्लेफेबल खिला रहा है तो चलता है वन पॉइंट में, क्योंकि ब्लास्टर्स तो रेंज है ना. लेकिन अगर तेरे साथ बजवॉल और क्लेफेबल है तो, और ओपोनेंट में तेरे पास ब्लास्टर्स और हुपा या फिर ब्लास्टर्स और एल्डिगॉस है, तो वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको, बजवॉल के लिए तो दिक्कत ही होगा. वो बंदा पहुंच ही नहीं पाएगा किसी पे, किसको मारेगा वो.
जानते हैं क्या खेल रहे हैं? एसपीआर है ना. अच्छा.
Possibly best teams in your region going up against each other right now. Nice attempt to secure there here.
डोडो तो स्ट्रगल करेगा भाई एल्डा के सामने अर्ली गेम.
हाँ वही.
Yeah, Zervis actually on the Gospel picking up the red.
अरे ये अगर वो खेले ना, ट्राई अटैक खेले तो मे भी स्ट्रगल ना करे. ट्राई अटैक और उसका मूव का नाम क्या जो
EU
अनस्टॉपेबल
वाले
हो जाता है वो
EU
वाला?
खेलते हैं।
Bottom path is we have Sarayu head up to the top path right here. 3 for the
कौन
side
से
of
वाला
Bingo,
एसपीएन होगा ये?
3 for the side of For Free. A fight could break out here.
ये स्पीयर ही खेल रहा है।
ये तो वही होगा, ये एसपीएन तो वही होगा जो ऑटो लॉकिंग होता है ना,
नहीं
स्टोर
ग्लेशियन
पावर वाला ही होगा। ओ ग्लेशियन, वही ऑटो लॉकिंग वाला ही होगा, ये सारे ऑटो लॉकिंग वाले होंगे। आईसी इवेंट तो आई डोंट थिंक सो होगा ये। वही है, आईसी का स्पीड ही है।
क्वार्टर ले रहा है रेड बॉक्स तो लेवल 5 क्वार्टर जंगल कर रहा है क्या? वाओ
Yeah, get Gatlu online, another imposing force once they do hit
भाई
Blastoise.
डबल स्पीड स्टेट ऑफ अच्छा है।
मेरी
जोरो
हाँ
डोडो को मारता है
हाँ जोरो
बट जोरो की स्नोबॉल
ट्राई
नहीं कर
अटैक
पाएगा।
को मार नहीं पाएगा, लेकिन ट्राई अटैक डोरो को मारने में प्रॉब्लम होता है,
ड्रिल पैक है ना
लेकिन इसको मार देगा।
भाई पागल
ड्रिल
है
पैक
क्या?
वाले को मार
नहीं,
देगा।
उल्टा बोल रहा था। जोरो ट्राई अटैक वाले को छील देता है। मेरा
अच्छा हाँ सॉरी सॉरी, मैं उल्टा बोल रहा हूँ। हाँ, ड्रिल पैक वाला को नहीं मार पाएगा। हाँ
ड्रिल पैक वाला होता जोरो के फेवर में है, बट तुम आउटप्ले कर सकते हो।
We have 60 staying up here, just charging up those icicle spears, looking for a target to use them on right there, as we have the portal signaling to the team that they could come.
उसका जंप किक का टाइमिंग के ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा ना। एक बार अगर जंप किक यूज कर लिया उसने, बेसिक दबाने का देख रहा है, तब अगर शैडो क्लॉ मार दिया तो गॉड चला जाएगा उसका पूरा।
भाई 6 लेवल का है जोरो, क्या करेगा बेचारा। रैपिड स्पिन
सर्फ लेना चाहिए था मे बी इसको।
इंडियन ब्लास्ट होता तो बोलता सर्फ लूंगा, वही खेलता सर्फ ही खेलता। हाँ कर लिया, आग दिया।
रैपिड स्पिन भी ठीक है ये ईवीज पे घुसने के लिए, बट मतलब ये घुसेगा अंदर तो जोरो के लिए ओपन हो जाएगा फिर, कि एक वो वे बन जाएगा ना। मीन लुक नहीं डॉस कर पाया बंदे ने।
कैसे करता?
ओवरलोड तो कर देता ये।
फिर पीछे है तू।
ना मैं बोला कि ओवरलोड होता तो कर देता। मैं वही तेरा वाला ही देख रहा हूँ, मैं वो नहीं कर पाया। वो
जंगल क्यों नहीं ले रहा है जोरो? हाँ?
नीचे अच्छा नाइस किल ऊपर का अच्छा किल निकाला इसने। लेकिन जंगल ले लेना चाहिए अभी इसको। और क्या कर रहा है इधर ये
इसने
ब्लू बफ में भी
इसने अमन जैसी हरकत की है।
भाई फिर से मिस कर दिया।
अल्टी नहीं है उसके बाद सिक्योर। भाई मैंने देखा क्या हुआ? अंडे को मिल गया।
वो
अंडे को मिल गया।
देखता हूँ।
अरे जोरो का डब चालू है फिर। क्या फायदा हुआ भाई?
बेसिक मार दिया। वाह
अरे जोरो कर क्या रहे हो? फार्म क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो?
I cannot believe Sarayu just in a
Trade face
start is level 9. We have 3 level 10 pluses on Yala Bingo. Really rallied back specifically at the basement Reggie fight and have kind of taken over this game.
प्रेशर में खेल रहा होगा।
Looking quite different right here than the grand finals we saw them in last month. I mean, this is a new team. This is definitely not what they were bringing last month here. Potato hanging out in this top path right now. The question is, could they go for a sneaky score? Are they going to watch this?
जोरो का अर्ली गेम निकल जाता ना, बहुत कॉन्फिडेंस आता है। तो अर्ली गेम नहीं निकलता ना, थोड़ा डिमोटिवेट हो जाता है बंदा।
90% टाइम्स बहुत अच्छा खेलता है जोरो।
कौन?
अमन।
हाँ ना, मैं वो बोल रहा हूँ कि अगर बाई चांस जोरो का अर्ली गेम नहीं निकला ना, जोरो प्लेयर्स थोड़ा डिमोटिवेट हो जाता है। मतलब घुसना है कि नहीं, घुसूंगा कि नहीं, ऐसा टाइप का। और अगर अर्ली गेम निकल गया भाई, वो तो घुसा ही रहेगा अंदर, तो बाहर नहीं निकाल सकता तू उसको। लेकिन ये जोरवक थोड़ा अजीब लग रहा है मेरे को।
स्लोब्रो ऊपर क्यों है? ये तो भाई नहीं जीत रहे लेफ्ट वाले। देख ब्लास्टर्स देख अपनी अल्ट कितनी प्रिसाइसली वेट रोक रहा है, अभी दबा नहीं रहा।
फायदा है नहीं नहीं है, नहीं तो
अगर
दबा के देखना
अगर
कितना मोटा मोटा शील्ड है
लास्ट
दूसरे के ऊपर।
नहीं अल्ट हक दी ना तो इजीली पुश है। अरे स्लोब्रो आ
वो होल्ड करके
गधा हो
रखा
गया
है,
ये
बेस
स्लोब्रो।
तक वेट करेगा वो।
अरे स्लोब्रो पागल हो गया भाई।
विजन लेके भी नहीं देख रहा, उसको लग रहा होगा कोई बुश, वो 40 का गोल लेके बुश में बैठा हुआ है।
अल्ट नहीं दबाने क्या स्लोब्रो का पूरी गेम में? पागल हो गया, इसने जॉयस्टिक जैसी हरकत की है। जॉयस्टिक
मार दे। हाँ नाइस किल। भाग भाग भाग, अभी भाग, लौड़ा भाग पाएगा तू। वो इल्यूजन नहीं इसके, इसमें था इसके पास इल्यूजन।
Huge on the scoreboard, huge level wise. I mean, they've got the position all over the map. It seems like they've got for free
भाई ये तो फिर 14 लेवल के हो
They're
जाएंगे।
going to need to take a lot of games off him here. So this is a great start for
डोड्रियो ऑन द वे है होने का।
मरेगा।
म्यू को और 2 किल मिलेगा तो हो जाएगा 14 का। डोड्रियो तो अभी हो जाएगा 14। पर पोटैटो ने जितना स्कोर दबाया ना, उसको अगर एमवीपी ना मिले तो मैं डाउट में रहूंगा।
एमवीपी फार्मिंग। अरे हुपा को
बंधन ने ना 88 का स्कोर 2 मिनट से पहले ही दबा दिया है।
जानते मर गया।
इधर अल्ट दे दिया
भाई, ऑलमोस्ट मार दिया था उसने। वो दो गेट भाई गटलू खेल गया बंदा, खेल गया
रुक
भाई।
देखता हूँ।
देखा नहीं क्या तूने?
ना पहुंचा नहीं अभी तक, रुक देख रहा हूँ। मैं तो जोरवक का देख रहा हूँ।
ये तो मटका
अबे 1 एचपी आई क्या? इसने ऑलमोस्ट मार दिया तो। ओए ओए गेटलू
मटका कर रहे हैं।
2000 टिकट तो लेना ही है इसको।
एसपीएन ने हक दिया लास्ट हिट।
ओके भी छोड़ेगा ये।
एसपीएन ले तो सकता था।
भाई मीन लुक मिल गया बेचारे को। छी 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 छी। अबे क्या निकाला था गेटलू ने यार।
भाई
गेटलू चिल्ला रहा होगा फक यू फक यू फक यू।
भाई 1 एचपी क्या मारा बंदे ने जेट।
भाई अच्छा वाला इजेक्ट था वो, अच्छा वाला इजेक्ट था।
सैटिस्फाइंग था ना भाई वो।
सैटिस्फाइंग था भाई वो। तू सोच ना, 2 बंदों का किल फ्री फंड का मिल रहा है उधर।
भाई ये अर्ली गेम तो इस लोगों ने दबाया पूरा। अर्ली मिड गेम बोल रहा हूँ भाई। अल्ट नहीं पता नहीं क्या नहीं बैठा हुआ है, क्या कर रहा है।
अरे स्कोर तो ऐसे भी लग गया टॉप पे, तो पहले ही लगा दे।
अर्ली गेम जोरो ने डुबाया और मिड गेम जोरो ने।
गेटलू मार रहा है इन दोनों को किक में।
अरे इजेक्ट मार के बोलोगे चल तेरी माँ की।
ना इजेक्ट मारने के बाद बोला अरे $2000 टिकट का बच गया, अरे मिल रहा है अभी। वो ब्रफ तो गाली दे रहा होगा। रिक्शा से जाता बहन के लोगों ने अड़वा दिया।
$2000
$2000 का शराब पीता, मैं रिक्शा से जाता, वो भी नहीं जा पाऊंगा अभी।
north. I mean, there was definitely some strong leads at points, but I felt like especially in that really long extended
क्लॉस ने तो डाल दिया है
3 minutes,
LFT.
it was just such an awesome set of engagements all on the east side of that Rayquaza pit. That was an amazing game to start things off, and already
Seriously.
looking
Hmm.
so good. We could see the kind of reverse from the
देखता हूँ
last
एक सेकंड.
tournament where it's just like
Got
you just
top third at the March Cup playing last minute.
Maybe it's going to pay off. I'm not too sure, but yeah, Yalla Bingo starting this off very well. That final fight, I feel like we could break down 10 times over. It was one of the best engages that we have ever seen. If they had the Umbreon on one side, that left Sarayu alone to play on the right-hand side. We'll take another look at it at the end of the highlight package, but I mean, you mentioned it, this game was back and forth constantly, but one thing to Yalla Bingo's credit, Objective Secure was the name of the game for them. We did see Zante walking away with a few Regielekis, and well, Zervis with them auto attacks as well. I had a couple, but those bot lane Regis were all Yalla Bingo.
Yeah, and that is so gigantic. When you're having this many fights, you want to stay obviously as close as you can to each other because this was aggression. I mean, we can already see here part of this big engagement.
Yeah, see, that is huge, right? And Sarayu's only counter so far this whole game, and it was an excellent one, was the Umbreon. But the Umbreon was busy dealing with 2 members on the left-hand side, so Sarayu finally finds the time to dive in, but 3 members proved a little bit too much for Sarayu to take down. Gatlu has an almost game-saving moment with an eject button rapid spin combo. Then they kind of unite nothing in the enemy central area. You know, it just was so much happening all at once. There was huge plays, there was mistakes, but at the end of the day, it's Yalla.
भाई लेकिन पोटैटो ने तो दिखा दिया. ये डोड्रियो तो भाई है. ड्रिल पे वाला डोड्रियो अभी भी चल सकता है.
Yeah, and I love the fact that 60s did so well in this match. I feel like it answers 2 big questions, right? Number 1, at the start of the day, one of our big questions was, how good still is Glaceon? Right? Obviously, still good. Definitely not the powerhouse that it once was, but clearly it can still work. And then the other question was the one that you said maybe, I don't know, 12 minutes ago, which is what's going to happen? Yeah, let's check the time. What is going to happen when, when there's only one Espeon amongst 2 teams that both want Espeon, and it's like that doesn't necessarily guarantee a win, which I do feel like we see a lot. When 2 teams both have a specialist, whoever gets that Pokemon tends to do quite a bit better, but maybe not as much this time because there's that flexibility.
I think if we're bringing up draft decisions, I think the biggest one we got to ask ourselves is the Zoroark. There's a couple of great options. You got Glaceon, you got Mew in that back line, but you're still going into Umbreon, and Umbreon piloted by one of the best defender players that Europe has ever seen in Marv, and that is a lot to ask. It proved to be a little bit too much for Sarayu this game. It was like every single time we'd have a great engage. We've seen this one before, right? We're going to see 3 KOs, and all of a sudden, Sarayu is trapped in a mean look. We used Illusion a moment earlier to avoid a Dodrio, and then Marv sees their opening, knows that mean look can't be placed by Illusion, locks them down, and shuts them down every time. All this to say, I don't think we're going to see Zoro
क्या हुआ?
side of
अबे ये वही रजत दलाल की पता है ना तेरे को कंट्रो. बस दोनों बैठ के फेम खा रहे हैं. पता भी था कॉम्प्रो हो जाएगा. बस 2-3 दिन मस्त 4-5 लाख फॉलोअर्स गेन किए.
Let's just put it that way. With a very similar comp as well, so clearly they had to have a very strong idea of how exactly they want to approach that, and probably how they want to approach most speedsters in general, which is a great thing for them right now.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome to see throughout the rest of the match, but I think obviously 4-Free is going to be representing Europe at a tournament upcoming very soon, EUIC, but I believe Yalla Bingo is already
EUIC
registered
अप्रैल
for
में है
that
ना?
open bracket, the Swiss round, so we'll be seeing both of these teams here.
मैं पता नहीं देखना पड़ेगा.
Yes, 4th April.
From Latin America South right now.
शिंगड़ी भाई
Their tournament is ongoing as we speak. Mewtwo Legends and
एशिया से कौन-कौन जा रहा है?
शिंगड़ी जा रही है टीम उसकी. यूनाइट हॉलिक जा रही है.
और
अच्छी है भाई यूनाइट हॉलिक और वो काबी चांस.
यूनाइट वाले काबी चांस और शिंगड़ी की टीम. इंडियन वालों को नहीं मिला चांस.
इंडियन को क्यों मिलेगा भाई? मिलना तो चाहिए था, बट जापानीज की वॉचिंग है ना.
इंडिया का तो ज्यादा वॉचिंग है, बट
इंडिया की कहाँ ज्यादा वॉचिंग है?
मतलब जाते तो व्यूज तो मिलता हो ना, बट सही बोला नहीं मिलता.
रीजन में क्या ही व्यूज आते हैं इंडिया के, जापान के 10,000 जाती है वॉचिंग।
इंडिया का 5K 4K में अटक जाता है।
नहीं नहीं, इससे भी कम है। 5K 4K तो बहुत ज्यादा है इंडिया के लिए।
Yeah, you don't want to give a team like Yalla Bingo, much like Yalla Bingo didn't want to give it to For Free, enough real estate to gain the win they need to wrap up, right? Both of these teams
New
are
SPN
good.
ban.
Both of these teams can win. Both of these teams want to win. Nip that in the bud as fast as you can.
And look at that here. Mew as our third ban right now, putting some respect on their name. Lundaroo, a targeted ban here by the side of For Free, and I am not shocked.
Which means that Crustle is unlocked. Chelvin snaps it up immediately. Potato, Dodrio, Hover, but I think they're going to go in a different direction and let Potato probably pick later on into this portion here. But Internal, great hoop of play in game one, and I would not be surprised if they went back there.
It's also possible they do snap up Dodrio early just because Gotlu is a known Dodrio player. Where I want to see if Gotlu decides to counter that at all, but it seems like he's been on Blastoise duty all day long. Let's see what For Free wants to change up right here. Zante coming in with the Sylveon, Gotlu on the Blaziken.
Yeah, Yalla Bingo really just getting the switch up that they wanted, and that's the Espeon quickly.
लिया क्लेफेबल लिया।
डोडे खेल रहा है।
And Potato is truly feeling
वो भी
this.
चेंज कर दिया
फर्स्ट पिक थी ना इनकी।
Here we go, hovering over the bird right now, deciding if they want that or if they have another plan that they want to take early. They do take Dodrio right here.
मेरे अकॉर्डिंग तो डोडो बैन भी एक चलता भाई।
That's a Gyarados, I would be so excited, but I don't know if I've seen it on the side of For Free just yet.
हाँ
म्यू बैन कर देते, फर्स्ट पिक डोडो करते, वो करते डोडो, मतलब कोई क्या बोल रहा हूँ मैं, म्यू बैन करते और डोडो बैन करते और फर्स्ट पिक gyarados
लिया है। एक gyarados तो देखने मिलेगा अभी।
मेरे को तो नहीं लग रहा चलेगा।
चल सकता है मिया। क्या खेलता है देखता हूँ। अबे बिल्लिया इनकी माँ का भोसड़ा भेंचो जिंदगी खराब कर रखी है बिल्लियों ने। पहले पता होता ये बिल्ली इतना झंड है भेंचो, पहला यूसीएस में साला एक सिल्वियन और एक एस्पियन भेज देता जंगल में।
अपना इन्वेड स्ट्रैट भी तो चलेगा अभी। याद कर।
हाँ
उतारेंगे उसको भी उतारेंगे इंडिया में।
But everybody in high-level competitive play understands what it takes to get Gyarados moving. So let's see what we can do there on both sides, how we balance it out. And look at this, who will win percentage that we see on the screen here. I don't know if you got your glasses on, you can read that. 51-49, who's in the lead?
When you look at that, For Free is slightly in the lead there, but something that you'll notice if you're really paying attention is how close these two numbers are. 51 and 49 are so incredibly close. We still have people crunching the stats behind the scenes. Hopefully we get an official word on how far apart that is, but these teams are close.
Do you believe in Gatlu?
Very close. Just
Gatlu
like
Gyarados?
this match right now. We're going into game 2, but these two teams are scrapping it.
मैं तो गैटलू का पूरा टीम में गैटलू के ऊपर ही भरोसा रखता हूँ, बाकी एक बंदे पे भरोसा नहीं है मेरा। वो जर्वेस के ऊपर थोड़ा बहुत है, बाकी एक के ऊपर भी नहीं है।
बट ये बफ लेके क्यों इवॉल्व हो रहा है? सीधा एक जंगल का वो लें जाटू हो जाएगा भाई। वो ले रहे लास्ट हिट देख आगी बिल्ली।
And of course, because they didn't get that knockout, Gatlu might be level 4, but they are still far away from
भाई फुल फार्म देना है भाई।
All right, here we go, Dupes. Next, we're going to be a political stick at the end of it right now with a fun fact. So far,
गया मे भी बच गया
2.4% of the games during the EU March Cup. More like a Snapple Cap fact, really.
Yeah,
भाई चल स्टोर पावर तो फिर भी ठीक है। इमेजिन कर ये वो खेलता भाई, झाड़ बराबर कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला था गैटलू को अभी टॉप पे।
सारी बीत गई।
9-5 चलेगा मे भी। हाँ
कर तो सकते हैं ये कॉमन पे बेट।
अबे इसका जंगल ही इन्वेड हुआ था क्या? ये 4 लेवल का क्यों घूम रहा है?
किसका?
सरेउ का?
बफ
ब्लेजिकिन का?
लेके गए ना वो, बोला था मिल गया उसको। वाओ
Yeah, and now they actually have to send Gatlu into Central. Yes, they did it as War Turtle, but War Turtle is not fighting uphill.
ये वाला सिल्वियन को मे बी मिस्टिकल फाइट खेल लेना चाहिए था, क्योंकि इनके टीम में तो है थोड़ा बहुत।
बन तो गया वो गैराडोस, स्किन भी है भाई उसको। भाई कितना ओपी बनाया है ना कैरेक्टर वैसे।
मस्त कैरेक्टर है।
भाई कैसे मारेगा
बन गया।
बेचारा यार, ये इस गेम से खड्डा खाएगा चेरू, जो भी नाम है उसका।
ये हाइपर वॉइस नहीं खेलना चाहिए था इसको। हीलिंग, वो मिस्टिकल फायर खेलता अच्छा खासा हीलिंग भी मिलता, टर्न भी मिलता, सब कुछ होता।
अरे वो
नहीं
चढ़ेगा कैसे एसपीएन वगैरह पे, इजीली काइट कर लेंगे उसको। और मीनू का इन पे
हाँ, जो सामने आ रहा है उसको ही मार देता वो। वैसे भी वो सिल्वियन को चढ़ने का जरूरत भी क्या है? गैटलू तो है ही ना चढ़ने के लिए।
अरे एस्टनल्ट डब्बा डोडो अल्टी है ऊपर
तो
से।
भाई अगर इधर गैटलू
इनका
अच्छा अल्ट मार देना हो जाएगा काम।
इनका मेरे को मैक्रो समझ नहीं आता, ऊपर क्यों बैठे हैं एक एक। अल्टी है नीचे है, मार, इतना लीड में है ये, मार देते, फाइट भी जीत जाते। इतना पैसिव क्यों खेलते हैं?
फार्म ओरिएंटेड गेम है इनका।
फार्म ओरिएंटेड तो सबका होता है, मतलब नहीं
मे बी ना, मतलब
गायडोस का वो
मे
फार्म डिनाई
बी
कर
इनका
रहा है।
ये सीन है कि मतलब मे बी इनका ये सीन है कि गैटलू सोच रहा होगा नीचे नहीं जाऊंगा, तुमको जो करना है कर लो, नीचे
नहीं, अरे
देख लो
नहीं,
अपना।
डोडो को ऊपर रहने का यही है कि वो गायडोस को फार्म ना मिले।
हाँ, वही बोल रहा हूँ मैं कि गैराडोस बोल रहा होगा कि तुम लोग देख लो, मैं ऊपर का
चल
फार्म
गया,
क्लियर करता हूँ।
चल गया
वो
बंदा।
डोड्रियो भी सोच रहा होगा।
डोडो इंसेन खेल रहा है भाई, कुछ भी होगा अभी ऊपर। इसको अल्ट की बहुत वैल्यू मिल रही है।
हाँ, ये लाइन में मिल रहा है इसको सब कुछ।
टूट गया ऊपर अल्टी देख भाई, 5:40 पे ऊपर अल्टी।
ये तो रैंडम वाले मैचेस लग रहे हैं मेरे को दिखने में।
ये तो रैंक वाली पटाई चल रही है।
एम्बलम लगा के स्ट्रिक्स एकेडमी।
हेलो सोफिया, कैसी हो? गैराडोस टीम फाइट में आ रहा है, नहीं आ रहा? 17। गैराडोस क्या कर रहा है? घूम कर गोल कर दिया। क्या पकड़ा है भाई? गैटलू का देख प्ले, वाओ, अंडे को मिल गया।
अंडा ही सिक्योर कर रहा था उसका सब।
देख गैटलू ने इंस्टा बेस किया, 0 टाइम वेस्ट, 1-2 किल मिली, ऊपर पूरे मैप पे फार्म पड़ा।
हाँ,
अभी ऊपर जाके फिर से फाइट लेगा लेके बना के।
हाँ, इसका वो टॉप लेन का फार्म ले लेगा ना, अगर 20 पॉइंट है तो। हाँ, 20 पॉइंट है अभी तो। इसका अल्ट आ जाएगा फिर से। 20 पॉइंट है।
ना अटैकर को फार्म करना चाहिए था, पीछे का भी फार्म, जैसे गैटलू किया, उसकी अल्ट भी वेस्ट होगी। 90,000 एसपी ऑन से बेटर क्या है क्यों अभी डिपेंड करता है, अगर नाइनटीज टैंक्स के सामने ज़्यादा अच्छा है, एसपीएन ओवरऑल बेटर है अभी, गाइड करता है इजीली।
But what you'll more likely see is them look for a score here in this bottom path. Otherwise, they could just head back to their side of the
ट्राई
map.
अच्छा किया गैरलू ने।
There isn't a ton of it up right there, though. So unfortunately, they don't get
नहीं ले रही
a
है अभी।
huge, windfall from this Regie.
ड्रैगन ब्रेथ का अप क्लोज डैमेज पड़ता है, दूर
मैंने
से
देखा
थोड़ा
नहीं
कम ही
क्या हुआ
डैमेज पड़ता
रोटम
है।
पे, कंटेस्ट नहीं हुआ क्या लेफ्ट से?
Out of the entire championship series.
ना नहीं हुआ, गैरलू बस अकेला गया था ड्रैगन ब्रेथ मार के, ट्राई किया सिक्योर करने का, बट नहीं मिला उसको।
बाकी कोई नहीं था इनकी टीम का?
वो अंडा और गैटलू।
Figure out what's going on in your life right now, okay? This is an
और ड्रेड के बाद अगर ये
become a more important objective.
फार्म ढंग से करते ना, सीधा पूरी टीम जाती है रोटम पे, तो गेट अल्ट यूज कर सकता था अपनी।
टॉप टियर तोड़ सकते थे ये लोग,
और
नहीं तोड़े।
सिल्वियो ने अल्ट वेस्ट कर दी ना अपनी ये 3:40 पे।
हाँ। अबे उधर अल्ट भी नहीं चाहिए होता, फुल एचपी का सिल्वियन था वो।
डोडो होम बेस पे जाएगा गोल करने जैप पे, मुश्किल है जितना ये जैप लेके
भाई
भी
इसका
हारेंगे।
पूरा खानदान जा सकता है होम बेस पे गोल करने के लिए,
राइट
ऊपर है।
राइट वालों को बहुत गंदा थ्रो करना पड़ेगा हारने के लिए। अरे
भाई
अल्ट
जीरो स्कोर है, तू देख।
खत्म, अभी बना रहे फाइट। गेटलू रेडी भी नहीं था, अच्छा हुपल था बहुत। भाई नो इज्जत ब्रो। दरवस ले गया भाई, दरवस ले गया भाई। देखा तूने क्या हुआ?
देख रहा हूँ एक
व्हाट द
सेकंड।
फक भाई, ये क्या हो रहा है?
भाई डैम, इजेक्ट दवा के बंदे ने कूदा ऊपर।
ऐसी गेम्स हारने में बुरा तो लगता होगा ना भाई। अरे मर क्यों रहे हैं ये बंदे, लीड में हैं। डोडो जीत रहे हैं, फिर भी
एक
जीत रहे हैं,
भाई
फिर भी
दो
जीत रहे
स्कोर
हैं।
चाहिए होगा, दो स्कोर चाहिए होगा इनको।
क्रेसर का गोल डिनाई करना पड़ेगा।
हम्म।
अरे भाई लंदन ने देखा क्या किया अभी? वाओ,
देखा।
देखा तूने?
हम्म।
उसने स्पीयर सारिस को मार दिए अंडे को, बट फिर भी जीत रहे हैं रिगार्डलेस।
एक स्कोर चाहिए होगा बस।
नहीं लग रहा, अब तो नहीं लग रहा।
और ना, दो स्कोर नहीं लगेगा, नहीं
3
लगेगा।
स्कोर चाहिए।
हाँ 3 स्कोर, वो 400 का 400 हो गया तो अभी डोडो ने 500 का डाल दिया।
ऊपल्टी है जीजी, मरो मत गाइस, मर गए ये। ये चीज़ है ना, हुपा ने बेस भी कर लिया, हुपा ने जलाया भाई। देख रहे तो हुपा की वैल्यू। एक तो इसकी हुपा परफेक्ट, स्टन 1 परफेक्ट गया, ठीक है। लेकिन इधर ड्रेड उधर होम बेस में भी खोल दिया। ये सब ना बाहर देख
भाई
स्पेक्टेट करने में इजी लगता है।
3 का गोल पड़ा है उनका, 3-3 100 का गोल पड़ा है उधर उनके सेंटर में। 700 स्कोर होगा उनका और इनका होगा 500 समथिंग।
स्पेक्टेट करने में बहुत इजी लगता है, बट इन गेम जब ऐसे दिमाग लगना होता है ना, किसी का नहीं लगता।
200 का ये था।
फिर इंडिविजुअल स्किल पे आती है बात।
हाँ वही बात है, ये लोग सोचे होंगे चलो बॉटम का ऑब्जेक्टिव ले लेते हैं जाके, कोई होगा नहीं उनका। लेकिन ये भी बात है ना, उनका बॉटम का बेस है, उनके पास ऊपर भी है, वो कहीं से भी पोर्ट होके आ सकते हैं। हिसाब से तो लेने जाना नहीं था वो ऑब्जेक्टिव।
Otherwise, Yellow Bingo feeling quite comfortable. Honestly, huge shout out to Internal on that Hoopa. to break that first race shield, that was huge. The call out, they knew they were somewhere in the tall grass, just throwing that Band Force move in there really stopped a recall.
हो गया ना मैच इनका खत्म फाइनल ग्रैंड फाइनल्स तो ही गया होगा
वो है ना ब्रैकेट रीसेट
Enemy goal zone home base because they knew they could just outpace in the scoring front. So sick stuff from Yalabengo. So good that we got to take another look at it.
Yeah. This was absolutely the Yalabingo game for the early moments of this. I mean, you can see right here, we're just about halfway through the game, and the score was 166-0. And it was just so many different fights going extremely well for Yalabingo, who, by the way, they did pick up that Glaceon again. They're still looking really amazing, so we're just still continuing to get some more data on that, let's just say.
Right, yeah. The Gyarados pick was, I think, very decent for For Free. Gatlu played an incredible Gyarados game. Some of those Unite moves were used defensively to dodge a lot of incoming damage. They were used really well. I want to know, For Free's draft strategy so far in this game has seemed to be focused on Lunder, especially in game number 2. We have a Mew ban and an Inteleon ban, all focused on the attacker picks, and we walks away with the Sylveon because we're giving up the Espeon in a scenario like that. It's a lot of focus that For Free was putting in that specific direction, and I mean, you're still going up against triple EVs at the end of the day, so I really don't know if I would repeat that draft strategy if I'm in For Free's position.
Yeah, there's a lot of directions they can go. Though that's the thing, is these teams have a lot of flexibility, so it's hard to say, but we're going to see a different Glaceon in the MVP than we saw last time on the same team.
Yeah, that is cool though to see different players able to flex into this pick. I mean, Glaceon, sort of an evergreen option it seems, despite receiving some certain nerfs, still has a powerhouse moveset in this Icicle Spear Ice Shard style of build. Of course, Cursed Instance just synergizes so well on this Pokemon, and you see Pokemon like Blaziken just have to run away from those shards and take reduced healing when doing so. It really, really hurts for those brawlers.
Yeah, and I know you just absolutely love fighting against Glaceon. One of your favorite things, if you see Zones on rank, be sure to choose Glaceon. He really enjoys it. But that's amazing though. We got the reset. That is
ये तो वन साइडेड मार रहे हैं भाई इनको
Europe, like I said, so far it's been an amazing season for them in general. I feel like so many different teams have really like popped out of the woodwork. And again, a lot of times it's teams with players that we know from other teams, but there's been so much reshuffling that it's great to see.
EVD4 है भाई
We heard from Junkie, it's like consistent.
Blaziken भी नहीं चल पा रहा ना इनका
So difficult, and that's true of every
Zero
single
value.
region. So to see already some teams come out and become consistent in this kind of wild west of Europe is really cool.
It's awesome to see.
ब्रोफी कौन सा टीम खोल के बैठा है
Over the grand finals have now been reset. We have one more best of 3 to determine the champion of the March Cup for Europe.
टीम YT वर्सेस GT अच्छा
After a short break.
आइथर खेल रहा है
प्रोफी कुछ का स्ट्रीम लगा के बैठा है क्या
हाँ एने देख रहा है वो
छी ब्रोफी व्हाई यू वाचिंग एनी माइक खोलना ब्रोफी एक तो इसके मैसेज का पिंग भी नहीं आ रहा मुझे
It's reset time here in the grand finals for the March Cup of the
एनए
European
के मैच
region.
स्टार्ट हो गए क्या ब्रो फिर?
Pokemon Unite popping off as we
टीम
have
वाइटी के
two
क्रिसिरोस
incredible teams
क्रिसिरोस कर
squaring
रहा है
against each other.
उनका
We've seen one
स्पेक्टेड से.
walk away with 2 game victories in a row.
Two strong victories as well. It was
LG वाले देखूंगा बस,
really a statement coming from
Eh,
Yalla Bingo.
और
We can see here now they have
GTLG इनका देखूंगा, और ऑल्टर ईगो का देखूंगा. ज्यादा उल्टा सीधा मैचेस नहीं देखूंगा और उनका.
from the start today coming through the losers bracket having to defeat
LG कॉन्फर्म आउट है.
Sucre, having to defeat Nouns, which is a huge win. M through Z, a team that trumps
LG
the
क्या?
name, but an extremely strong team, actually taking them to game 3.
देखते हैं चल. मुझे तो लगता नहीं आउट है.
Incredible run that they've made, and they're looking to add one more to that list.
Yeah, if you had any doubts around this team, I
अगर
think
आउट होता तो मतलब ये आ जाता ना, ट्वीट आ जाता है ऑलरेडी अभी तक.
अरे वो
आया
कुछ
तो नहीं है.
एड्रेस तो नहीं कर रहे वो.
they are that strong.
हम्म.
Incredible of a team. I love Lunder on this squad. The addition, Lunder and 60s on these attackers have been fantastic. They've been sticking mostly to
ओवरलॉर्ड से तो ट्वीट एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करता मैं, वो स्लैश से तो एक्सपेक्ट करता ही हूँ.
into that top path, but if it ain't broke,
Yeah.
keep rocking it.
Yeah, it's really cool though. They're I mean specifically their like EV usage has been really good in my opinion.
LG कहाँ पे है?
To be fair, a lot of teams have had a lot of EV usage. Hey, look,
Oh.
what are those? Top Pokemon to watch. 2 EVs on top.
There you go. Leafeon
Oh, LG out.
boasting of
Out?
extremely high ban rates, but
Is it confirmed?
हार गया.
rates because of that.
हाँ, confirm.
Obviously, not having the option to select those Pokemon too often because of how strong they are in that game. We already watched the number one do so well, but we got to get to this grand final, so let's get it underway. Spraggles and Doomsnacks, they're over there, miles away. Take it away, you two.
Here we are, 3 miles
ये
away
क्या कर
from
रहे हैं
the
ये दोनों
depths,
देख?
getting ready for this
शर्म ही
next
नहीं है.
game. Yalla Bingo versus For Free, the bracket reset that we all wanted. The Groundhog's Day, but different. And the question is it going to be Groundhog's Day, but different? Because For Free still has a chance to win this thing. Last month, For Free
सीरियसली भाई हार गए.
beat him again in that reset. Yalla Bingo
रोस्टर चेंज तो होने वाला है.
right now as we see our first bands here. Urshifu, Hoopa, Buzzwole, and Leafeon.
Revenge is a dish best served cold, and it might be lunchtime where we are, but they are going to dish that up ice cold. Yalla Bingo would love to win 2 on the hop and really dispel anything that anyone might have to say negative about them. I am so ecstatic that Yalla Bingo has reset this thing and have been able to show that they deserve to be here and are really one of the only 2 teams in the conversation for best of EU.
Here we go. First pick on that Eldegoss. You can see how much these 2 teams prioritize that Pokemon. For Free, snapping up the Inteleon and the Crustle. Crustle just such a powerhouse here. Yalla Bingo possibly thinking about grabbing Dodrio early, but they do not. I wonder if For Free wants to counter this in any way. Gotlu is a great
Wow.
Dodrio, and it
Yeah,
really takes away an
Urshifu
option
ban.
for Potato. They do here
Why
for this
bro?
next pick.
Why?
Here's the thing though, Marv and Internal, we saw them the same type of
ये
thing with
देख
Zoroark.
डोडो ब्लॉक पिक कर लिया.
They're going to be able to use Cotton Spore to disrupt the Dodrio, and it only has a couple instances of that full heal available.
ब्लिसी लेगा क्या फिर से
Once
अभी?
they lock it,
डोडो खेलेगा क्या?
they're done.
डोडो वन ट्रिक है ये भी.
Service having to sit on the Blissey right now.
वो तो है ही. बंदर लैपरस के ऊपर डोडरियो खेल देता है. ये क्या चीज है?
लूका डोडो जंगल टॉप पे गारचॉम्प.
असली में पे आ गया क्या?
गारचॉम्प पिक तो अच्छा है भाई.
भाई अंडा लिया क्या ये लोग? हो गया.
अंडा ही लेंगे भाई.
गार्चों और अंडा खेलेंगे टॉप पे.
Very toxic.
From Sarayu here. I like the pick, but at the same time, I was just wondering if they were going to grab maybe Blastoise here, even though they weren't probably planning on playing it the same way. Gotlu's obviously their top path player right now. It's just such a powerful Pokemon that they could bring out right here. A lot of range on the side of Yalla Bingo with Sixies and Lundaroo right here. We've got some great dive on the side of For Free with the Dodrio, with the Lucario. We're going to have to see how these teams are able to make it happen here in game number 3 or game number 1 of our bracket reset.
Yeah, game number 1 of our bracket reset in the grand finals here. best of 3 is what we've got in front of us. This draft just across the board is incredibly fun and offers a lot of unique dynamics that is not only skill expressive for the individuals, but how the teams can play and facilitate these things. Specifically, again, Gatlu on the Dodrio, we set all of the counters, but there's plenty in the hands of ForFree to facilitate Gatlu to take those options away on the side of Yalabingo.
And of course, I'm excited to see the Garchomp from Potato. I mean, one of the legendary Garchomp players inside of Pokemon Unite. And you're going to see it here in these grand finals. The only thing that EU likes more than Potato's Garchomp is a bracket reset. They seem to do it all the time. Here we go, Yalabingo, your purple team. ForFree, your orange team.
टॉप लेन कौन जीतेगा?
Top path internal Potato, not afraid of what they've got going
Left
on the other
जीतेंगे
side.
ना?
Chansey and Lucario going to hang out there, of course.
मरी
Lucario
Chansey तो
strong
मरी.
early, but one of the few Pokemon that does have to evolve that can contest it fairly well is this Gible.
Yeah, here we go, trying to take some of that away from Lucario. They're just getting bullied here.
भाई एस्पियन भी आ गई ना, मर जाएंगे easy. Very skilled bro.
Double KO on the side of Yalabingo. It all goes over to the Eldegoss.
The communication on Yalabingo is impressive, and I know the communication is going on incredibly well. Sixies didn't rotate up and hide. They were saying the pressure is down, we need you here now. They literally took one buff and rotated in to make their pressure felt and get 2 KOs, the K opener and a supplementary one.
नहीं जीत रहे भाई Gatlu की टीम.
Head down to this bottom path right here and get a little aggressive. They are doing that, moving forward there towards Shelvin, trying to secure some of that wild Pokemon. Here comes Gatlu on the Dodrio, getting stopped there by that stored power. It is able to
Gatlu
this
is
right there as it pushes in. Kind of annoying counter for the bird.
Then we can expect something.
Internal up top on Sarayu. We saw a little mean look on Chelsea.
2000 रुपए की टिकट का तो बचाना पड़ेगा भाई.
The Drizzile trying to get into Inteleon quickly.
नहीं तो ये तो रिक्शा से नहीं जाने वाला.
On this Gabite. Potatoes in with tough waters, but internal there's for the support. Here comes Sarayu as well. We got a 3-on-2 and Gatlu wants more action. Sarayu engages deep with the E-Speed. They get a quick KO on the Gabite now. Internal saying, Sixies, come help me, my friend. Throwing down a Pollen Puff, going to pick it up themselves, and things are going to settle down just for a moment.
You know, we talked a little bit about the incredible amount of dive on the side of ForFree. Even more so now that we see this is an extreme speed Lucario, one of the highest skill builds inside of Pokemon Unite. So many stuns,
like seriously,
knockups inside the game right now. You don't see this.
मरने से पहले अच्छे से मर जा.
हारना तो बोल दे भाई.
वही ना. हारना है तो अच्छे से हारना. ये सब कैसे हार रहा है?
नीचे अबे ये डब्बा डाल रहा है भाई.
These teams are scrapping and there's nobody stepping backwards, moving forward every single time.
Yeah, incredible stuff here from Yalabingo. Up on the scoreboard once again, 53-0.
Gatlu का तो हो गया बट level.
We're going to see how comfortable Zervis is playing the support.
लेन जिता था भाई. क्या player है भाई.
Drug back into those birds there by the drill peck and going down.
भाई देख इसने आया लेन जिता गया लूका को. यही करता अच्छा जंगलर.
पोटैटो को मारा अभी वो.
I'll take his speed. डब्बा. डब बच गया.
Nice solar beam. Zervis steps up to take the brunt of that.
Zervis मरेगा.
Pivot back. Zervis is going to go down unquestionably. No, Marv can't close the gap. Chelvin going to get in the mix. Now Chelvin's getting very low. Solar beam comes through. Tons of damage being rained in. Sixie's getting credit for the KO.
E-Speed ही जीतेगा तू देख बस.
Yeah, it looks like nobody wants to actually commit to ripping this thing down.
कौन लिख रहा है?
पता नहीं कोई
random
person
too fast. Neither does Inteleon. Mew, of course, one of the worst in the game at shredding the HP of something here. Right now, Yalabingo deciding to possibly go for it. Here comes the Unite from the Inteleon. Zante moving in right here with the eject button, looking for the
Zante ये क्या किया इसने भाई? इतना aggressive. Intel देख क्या कर रहा है?
On the side of ForFree is quite bad. They have a possible egg bomb as the damage comes in. Regirock getting low here. The egg bomb, can it make it happen?
ले गया egg bomb.
Zervis feeling those objectives and saying, why should the rest of the team show up
when I can just do it my
darn self? Regirock goes down ForFree, gets the first one, and now he's going to get this Regieleki as well.
Here we go.
नीचे भी मिल गया, ऊपर भी मिल गया.
Coming right back in this game, the Miracle Egg Bomb. But you have to remember, Egg Bomb is a great secure tool, supports defenders, doing a little extra damage. onto those, wild Pokemon really helps them out with moments like that. Here come the snipe shots, looking for a KO on internal, but a nice little juke there.
Yeah, 60's going to get a quick reset here. The top goal zone is gone, but that bought a lot of time for Potato to finally evolve into Garchomp, which is crucial, right? So essentially, Yalabingo's been having all these fights without their presence to be known at all. So the fact that they're finally online's got to be a sigh of relief.
Potato now, level 10. Able to
This
get a ton of
level-
experience here. Garchomp just, an absolute monster running across this map. Able to clear all these wild Pokemon extremely fast. Get a very high level. You have to see Garchomp's
Vargas
really
hacking,
beefy
yes.
by the end of the game right here. Now Garchomp at level 10 is on pace with some of their counterparts on the other side.
Yeah, actually, Garchomp just hiding out. Potato waiting to see if anybody for free kind of oversteps their limits here so they can get themselves a KO. Internal eats a snipe shot. They're half HP versus pivoting back. 60's rotating down, and Garchomp going to start working in the central area. And we don't have an objective on the map, but these teams are certainly looking at each other.
Lucario looking for a score possibly in this top path right here. They only had 4 points.
बस
so
बोल
we're
एक
gonna
गेम
have
भी
to
दिखा
see
क्या
that's
तूने
exactly what they
तूने
wanted out of this.
एक गेम भी
Possibly
दिखा
just
देखो
get
सारे गेम बैन हुए, सारे गेम बैन हुए।
KO for 4 points. Hey, if it's the 4 points that make the difference later, then I guess it was worth it right here. We head up to the top path. Blissey all by their lonesome. Gottlieb coming up now as the Dodrio, taking the long way around to make sure that they're not caught.
Great macro knowledge there by Zervis. Immediately ditching the bottom path, understanding Yalabingo might make a push top and is able to support the squad. Psychic
अंडे
Slayer
की
doesn't
अल्ट
catch
एस भी
anybody.
भाई
Crash certainly does. Bliss is right in the middle. Sorayu catches it. They're e-speeding through. They're on top of 60s, forcing out the eject button. We have another Inteleon Unite. And yes, everybody's moving forward. Here's 3 players are already down for Yalabingo.
ब्लास्टर्स तो खेल रहे हैं ये
Coming unglued, getting
गैटरी को खेल रहा है एटलीस्ट
Gottlieb putting some points in this top
Hmm.
right now. Reggie Lucky looks like it's going down to the side of 4-3. I don't think anyone's going to make it there from Yalabingo in time. They're able to take a nice objective there. And now they have an opportunity to head down to the bottom path as well. 4-3 right back in this
लूका का
game,
देखो
right
एक
back in
प्ले
this
दिखा पूरे
series.
गेम में
Yeah, and the whole time Marvin
एक दिखा, 20 पे।
अभी अल्ट
is going to show up and hang out with them for a bit. As Yalabingo is going to deal with this Reggie Alecki, but that gives 4-3 a great
Last
opportunity
time
on this
Luka, huh?
basement Reggie.
Here comes 4-3. Gottlieb with the drill peck starting to chip up this Regice right here. We have 3 members of Yalabingo coming down to see what they can do about it. We have the Inteleon secure, getting ready with the snipe shot. The snipe shot finding Umbreon right here. Mew with the Unite move, looking for the secure, looking for a possible snipe on one of the enemy Pokemon. Regice is extremely low right here. Here comes the Solar Beam. Here comes the
Nice
snipe
secure.
shot. Was it secured by Blissey again? With just a slap?
भाई ब्लिसी भी
Come on.
Get out of here. That snipe shot, look, it was about the same time. Mostly
ये
snipe
snipe
shot,
shot
some
ने लिया
service there. Yalabingo getting a couple of collect KOs there in that whole exchange. 4-3 leaving with another objective, however, and up on these levels by a small margin, but still.
Here we go.
Intel
We have
14,
20
Dodo
seconds
13.
now until Rayquaza hits the map. 4-3 up. Feels like maybe the first time they've been up throughout this entire series. They've had some tough games, but this one is going
गार्चोम का
a lot
वो नहीं है ना
better
कुछ
for
लेट
them
गेम इनके
right
पास
now. This is,
Mhm.
I guess, the first time Yalabingo throughout this
न्यू
little back
13
and
हो
forth
जाए
here has had
गार्चोम
to
भी
make
13
a
हो जाए
big play here at Rayquaza. Gotlu looking to possibly get some experience here and
नीचे
score in
गोल
this
तो
bottom
लग
path.
सकता है
They both have tier 1s up in the bottom path, which means anyone can really peel off and even this game up pretty simply.
Yeah, just taking a look. I
ये
mean,
गोल
this
वोल नहीं
Garchomp's
मारने
been
जाते हैं
nowhere to
भाई
be found. MIA, and they're on the moon, so they better come back to Earth, Moon Man, and make your presence felt because you have been a non-factor.
Yeah, here we go. We do have the Garchomp still hiding in that top bush, like you said, playing a little Jim Carrey. They're the man on the moon right now, but they
भाई
can
ये
come in
स्नाइप
and
शॉट
make
हर्ट
this
करने वाले हैं
whole
अगर लग रही
thing
है
happen. We have Lucario watching the top path as well. 4-3 is up right now, so they really don't need to do too much except let
Nice.
Yalabingo make a mistake. Shelvin in a little bit
डोडो
of
का
trouble
गोल
right
भी
there,
हो गया
being caught by the
आधा
mean look. We had, it looked like Gotlu trying to score in the bottom path, but being pushed off.
Yeah, Marv looking to pivot to see if Gatlu maybe rolls up a little too early so he can catch them in a mean look, but they decide to let them off the hook. The Dodrio playing in the bottom path very well. We're looking for an engagement here. Chelvin's trapped again. Egg Bomb coming through. Potato not willing to get on top of anybody. Lunder's at half HP. They're going to have to pivot back.
ये
And now
लोग फ्लिप
Chelvin's
करने
starting to move
शर्माते भी
forward,
नहीं है
getting a
भाई
little confidence here.
मतलब
His Potato's just been sitting in the middle of this
कर दो भाई
Rayquaza
तुम
pit,
लोग लीड में
hoping
ही
that
हो
somebody pays attention to them. There we go. The Inteleon Unite is out. Big snipe shot on top of Eternal Force. Now the Cotton Cloud grab.
भाई ये
Going to
फिन
a
वाली
turn
अल्टी
they
क्यों
want.
खोल
They
रहा
land
है
on top of the Umbreon.
Hmm.
Chelvin is low, but in the
भाई
back
लिटरली
line,
फिन वाली अल्टी खोल रही है भाई इतना ओवर कमिटाइज करते हैं ना ये
that is not enough. We still have 4 players up on the side
मटका
of
करना है
Yellow Bingo.
इनको
They're looking for the next opportunity, and that is Marv taken out by Service for some
मर
reason.
जाएगा
Now the snipe shot hits Lundaroo again. Internal needs to pick up that HP, but Rayquaza is
गेट
incredibly
लू
low. Now
भाई
everybody's going down, and Service with another one. 5 players down Yellow Bingo. The whole team is eliminated,
Holy
and
shit.
4-3 is looking to close this thing out.
4-3 running to score right now, but with only
इनकी
10
भाई
seconds left,
सारी
there's
अल्ट
really
वेस्ट
nothing
गई
Yellow
हैं
Bingo can do because they are all still
लेफ्ट
in the
की
Pokemon Center. 4-3 right back in this thing, not getting sent home just yet. They want to win this here for a second month. 2
सोच
in
के
a
देख
row,
अंडे
looks
की
pretty
अल्ट
good
बची
for
रहती
4-3 right now.
नहीं हो
Yellow
रहा था
Bingo
ये
is going to need to step it up here in the rest of our grand finals bracket reset. We're going to send this thing back on over to Zoinks and Wonder Chef to break this game down. Gentlemen,
What a bounce back from
समझा
4-3.
सासुके
Great to see from them. They are now on the board, leading this reset
Yes.
grand finals 1-0.
That's right. It's really a back and forth as true as we can possibly see it. You can even see from the stats right there. Again, a fight back and forth, but now life in their lives.
I love Gatlu taking that Dodrio away. Spraggles talked a lot about it when they were breaking down that draft. One of my favorite decisions we have seen from 4-3 today in their tournament run. It paid off in a huge way. Able to full combo an Umbreon in that final fight to really secure that deal. So fantastic work from 4-3 starting off this grand finals right. But we are going to be taking a very short break as we get these teams set up for game number 2 of our grand finals. Don't go anywhere.
कमबैक हो रहा है क्या गेटलू का
We are here with Ender,
भाई
and I wanted to talk to Ender a lot
रीगल्स ने
about
भाई
this.
कोट
We have
पैंट
huge changes
चेंज
in
कर लिया
Pokemon
अपना
Unite. We have 4 bands
गर्मी लगने
inside
लगी
of
है
draft now. It's no longer blind pick. So while we have Ender with us, Ender, I
रीगल्स
want
भी
you to
बटन
tell me
टक हो
how
गए
these teams are going to change their
ये
strategies
कौन
now
इंडिवियर
that we
कहाँ से आ
have
गया
this huge draft change.
वो तेरा मैच नहीं है क्या
You're absolutely right, Straggles. Now we've got
इंडिवियर
bands within Pokemon
इंडिवियर इधर
per
ये
side.
क्या करने आ
The
गया
biggest change is going from blind ban,
भंडारा थोड़ी लगा
where you
इसके
kind
लिए
of had to play this mind game. Are they going to ban the Pokemon that they intend on selecting? Are they going to match our ban? We have no
टीम
idea
वाइटी
what's going to
डिफेंडर
happen.
ब्रो
And you weren't able to ban out specialized Pokemon. You know, if you're going up against a squad, a team that's just got that Gengar mastermind, it might not be in the meta. It might not be considered one of the strongest Pokemon.
रात के मैं
but now
6:30
teams
बजे
can
का बैठा
afford
हूँ
to
तो
do
बोलता है
specialized
चेयर पे
bans, and I think that's really going to showcase the depth that some of these really great teams have.
Well, you just mentioned the depth, and that as a
स्क्रीन
result
उसका
of
बहुत
these
इसके
4
बाद
bands now that the
ये
game has,
स्टार्ट हो गया
I think that's going to shake up the meta overall from February, what we've seen in February, to March now.
Well, the extra bans are going to allow you to take away some of those specialized Pokemon, but it's also going to start to develop a meta where we get to see a wider variety of Pokemon. In the past, we might have only had one Pokemon removed from the pool because if they matched their bans. Now, we guaranteed we'll be seeing 4 Pokemon out of that pool. On top of that, with some balance changes, some of the more recently released melee Pokemon like Meowscarada, Blaziken,
Meowscarada तो एक
Gyarados
नहीं
are
दिखा
all
है
entering the meta.
लिटरली
And
एक नहीं दिखा
my prediction is long gone are the days of that double beam, double sniper type of composition.
एनए में दिखेगा ना
We're
अभी
just going to be seeing teams running it down with those
टॉप पे
melee
भी खेल
Pokemon.
सकते हैं उसको
Now, Ender, I know you have to run, and I have to ask you about this. You have sort of retired from pro play this season, and now all of a sudden, you're pulled right back in there. Team YouTube needs a sub, and you are playing the defender role this weekend. How do you feel about, I guess, all of that? Being thrown back into it, and then, of course, playing a new role on a competitive team.
Yeah, I tried my best to get away from the scene. I needed to take a break. Some of the people I really enjoyed playing with had newer opportunities, and I'm a guy that loves playing with their friends, and that was really big for me. Team YouTube all of a sudden needed a new defender player, and they've got Otter, one of my previous teammates. I love the guys that are on there, and the only player they were able to select was one that had not participated in the qualifiers. That being me, pretty much the only option available for them. So I'm picking up a new role, defender. I've been practicing it all week. I've got my combos down, and my goal is to just do the best that I can for them.
Well, Ender, good luck to you. Good luck to Team YouTube. I hope you got to enjoy your 60-hour retirement from Pro Play, and we're excited to watch you play this weekend. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Deuce Next.
Pokemon Unite Championship Series. With the new season comes new changes, some of which are poised to shake up the competitive landscape. Players will compete in monthly cups for their regions, awarding
भाई
championship
इंडिया का भी
points
कुछ
and
अनाउंस कर
boosting their
देना भाई
chances to qualify for the World Championships in Honolulu. Instead
होनोलुलु
of competing in the AOS Cup within their region, qualifying players will now be competing internationally at EUIC in London. Winning here secures an invitation to Worlds and a big chunk of the $100,000 prize pool. Regional Finals still grants another chance for players to secure an invitation, but this year NAIC introduces the Final Stretch, an open bracket last-ditch effort to earn a shot at the World Championship title. With so many paths to get to Honolulu, we expect to see fierce competition in every single event. Join us for all the games and follow along to see who will become the world's best Pokemon Unite players.
And here are my top 3 takeaways after watching the Asia Champions League this weekend. First off, the final specific draft rule shook things up in a major way. This rule meant that if a team chose a Pokemon in one of the games of their best of 3 set, they were not allowed to play it for the remainder of that match. So exciting to see these teams experiment. Players were forced onto picks like Cramorant or Mamoswine, and even teams coming up with crazy compositions like the return of Score Comp. Thanks, Uniteholic, for making it look great in day 1. Next up is the region of India having a huge level up. India has never gotten a win on an international stage for Pokemon Unite before, and Team True Gravity, India's representatives at the Asia Champions League, changed all that with a crazy losers bracket run, putting them in 2nd place, taking down incredible teams
इंडिया का बात कर रहे हैं
like MOS, Team Rise, Talon, and only falling to the eventual winners of
Gravity.
the event, Team Kabi-chans. Speaking of
Huh?
Team Kabi-chans, this team looks incredible, taking down the entire tournament, winning the whole thing from the winner's side, and playing very, very high skill Pokemon the entire way. The Inteleon play, the Blaziken play, and even the Lapras that this team tends to play look so phenomenal. Potentially,
भाई इसका
the
जंगलर ना
frontrunners
बहुत
of
वो है भाई
best
छुपा
team
रुस्तम निकला
in the world right now.
जिन्होंने जोरो
हम्म
दिखाया है ना
Gonna have
भाई
to wait too
और वो
long to
जिस
see
लेवल
if
का
they
खेला
can
है
prove it. They are going to be one of the 2 teams
KS वाले ना
invited to the AOS Cup at EUIC, where they will play against teams
भाई बंदे ने गंदा वाला जोरो दिखाया मतलब
including North America,
ये
Europe,
सभी बच्चे हैं
ऐसा
सभी
जोरो
बच्चे हैं
Brazil, OC, and whoever
हम्म
else joins the open bracket tournament. I cannot wait. This is going to be an
क्रेजी
incredible event, and I hope to see you tuning in.
भाई इसका जोरोआक देख के तो मेरे को ओवरलॉर्ड का याद आ गया भाई लैन पे जो जोरोआक खेला बंदे ने उसका रिकॉर्ड बना दिया बंदे ने 1,89,000 का कोई दे नहीं पाया अभी तक आज तक तो वो भी टीटीवी के अगेंस्ट
Extremely dominantly, but now we are looking at a 1-0 lead for 4-free in our reset match.
Yeah, we can take a look at some replays from that last game where, oh my goodness, finally we see the life in the gameplay from For Free.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's good. That's exactly what I want to see. As much as it would have been kind of, well, actually, technically, I do believe post-reset last month, we saw the first game post-reset won by Yellow Bingo, right?
Okay.
And then they lost 2. So we are actually going the exact same, if I remember correctly, order, just opposite, but different.
If you remember correctly or not, honestly, I think it brings into question if the script to Groundhog Day, but different, is plagiarized. And that is just something, a real concern that we need to talk to
It's
the
not
script writers.
plagiarized, it's but different.
Parody law is something I don't normally go into too in depth, but yes. What we have been going in depth with, of course, is these 2 squads. The Rayquaza Secure looking amazing by that Inteleon. Good to see Zante picking that option up. Obviously, we saw them rotate to the Sylveon, and that was in that draft where we were hard targeting the attacker role, the Mew and the Inteleon. But let's see what happens in our next match as we have Game 2
बुद्धि
ready
चालू
with the
करो
Casters,
भाई
Spriggles, and Dupe Snacks.
Here we go, Doob Snacks for free.
जीटी का ही मैच देखना पड़ेगा अभी और तो है नहीं कोई देखने लायक टीम और ऑल्टर ईगो है
This whole thing right now, Yellow Bingo
देख
able to
देखेगा
reset
क्या
this
इतनी रात
bracket,
तक
but they gotta be
मेरा नींद नहीं आया रे, जब तक नींद नहीं आता मैं तो देख लूंगा। तेरे को बंद करना तो बंद कर दे स्ट्रीम।
Yeah, we were actually talking about it between games here. This actually puts the draft prio on Dodrio different for Yalla Bingo. If they want it, they need to pick it earlier because 4-3
यार
has a
क्या
great
है Urshifu
opportunity.
ban
Long gone are the days of making it your fourth or fifth pick, I think, in this particular matchup.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what they want to bring in here. Looks like they're prioritizing the Inteleon, possibly the Crustal again. These have been huge Pokemon, obviously. Internal, grabbing that Eldegoss early, they love it. Potato getting Dodrio. And we're going to have to see what 4-Free wants to do to answer that here, because they really didn't seem to have an answer for it in any of their earlier games.
If they wanted Dodrio, they had to take it there, because otherwise 4-Free is snagging it guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Right? Right now, the recipe to success against
Oh,
Yellow Bingo
first
is to cut
Meow
off
Flare,
Potato
right?
from their Pokemon. Now we're going Zervis, hovering Clefable, and Gotlu quickly locking in Meowscarada.
ग्लेशियर नहीं लेगा ये और क्या लेगा भाई अगर इस गेम में ग्लेशियर नहीं लिया ना
We've not seen a ton of it out of EU, and this Pokemon, it feels
तो
like
इस
it's
भाई
Meowscarada.
क्या
especially
भाई
in a lot of the NA games that we have
मत
been
ले
watching
भाई
right
जोरो
here. 4-Free looking for their last picks right now.
टैलेंट अच्छा है
Possibly hovering the Talon right here. We're going to see if they want to bring that towards the side
अरे
of
भाई
Yellow
ये
Bingo. It
कुछ
doesn't
भी ले रहा है डब्बा ही
feel
डाल
like
रहा है
yeah, I was going to say, Talon doesn't feel like it plays super well into a lot of what Yellow Bingo had. Mew can get away from it. Maybe it's good, you know, to target that Espeon, but they're locking in the Blaziken, sending it over to
ये
Gotlu.
दूसरे वाला बिल्ड
Sarayu
खेलने
is
वाला
gonna
है
be
क्या
the one picking up that speedster.
Yeah, I
ट्रायल
mean,
ब्लेज वाला
I'm not saying they don't mind, but Sarayu and Gotlu on Blaziken Meowscarada can certainly battle inside of a mean look better than some of the other picks we've seen so far. And that's a nod to that, right? Don't try and play around necessarily the Dodrio, maybe try and play within the mean look. And
फिर से कोड पहन के आ
4-3,
गया
a
भाई
combo
बड़ी जल्दी
Pokemon
चेंज नहीं
they're
कर रहा
very comfortable with.
I gotta say, I love seeing that energy amplifier on Meowscarada. Meowscarada's Unite move just got an amazing buff. It's so powerful. If you stack up that attack weight and you have an energy amplifier, you've just unlocked the delete button from that Meowscarada. It can hit multiple members of the enemy team. This could be huge for 4-Free. Again, they take this game, they win the whole thing right now 2 months in a row.
Eject button into that Unite move, that Meowscarada Unite move is a walking, literally, delete button for some of the players on Yalla Bingo. You're looking at Lunder, that's a great way to force out a preemptive Mew Unite, right? Force it to scamper away. You know, force out Marv to use their Unite move to try and nab some of the shields back off of that. So, 4-Free understands the texture of this draft and have cobbled together a pretty good strategy. In the hands of Yalla Bingo, though, a lot of Pokemon that they are very comfortable and familiar with and have been successful with.
That's right. It does feel like Yalla Bingo got a lot of what they wanted right here, and we're going to see if 4-Free is able to take some of these
मुझे
picks
लग रहा
and
है
kind
ले
of
जाएगा गैटलो
counterpunch Yalla Bingo's strategy as we head in here to game number 2 of our grand finals bracket reset in the EU region. 4-Free just needs one more game to win this thing. Gotlu heading to the central area. Sarayu in the top path with the Sprigatito.
Yep, and I would hate to see Gotlu come online too early.
अरे भाई क्यों जा रहा है स्टैट पे इसके सामने Meowscarada के
Score them all, and if they can get out, that's going to be a boon here. And they are. Whoa, was that an eject button out of Sarayu to get that KO? It was, but they might go down the other way because another very fast rotation by 60s.
नॉर्थ ईस्ट से आके बेट हो रहे हैं भाई सब
Credit, that's internal.
KO for
बहुत
KO.
टॉक्सिक है भाई ये
KO,
रोटेशन
really nice move there from 4-Free, and a great counter there by Yalla Bingo, able to take down that Sprigatito. You know, I gotta say, I think they knew it was gonna be called Sprigatito
वो
before they even
कोचिंग
knew
पे
what it
खेल
was.
रहा है Mew
They were
अर्ली
like, what's the most fun word to say? Sprigatito? All right, what is it?
Sprigatito's great. Combustion is way, way worse. Let's get that thing evolved just so we don't have to look at it.
Yeah, it's going to be big for DupeStacks, everyone. I know we had a little blackout on stream earlier. If we want to do that until that becomes a Blaziken, that would actually be really great for my casting partner right here. Nice fight there from 4-Free. They're in a little trouble right now, though. Huge drill peck from Potato, almost taking down Gotlu.
Yeah, Gotlu able to pick up a berry and keep themselves standing. Potato able to rally back from getting knocked out pretty early by the eject button Sprigatito there that we saw. Marv quickly getting some points in, but Chelvin and Zante are going to be able to put the pressure. Sobble into Drizzile. Now Marv has to deal with this tandem.
And now here we have multiple members of Yalla Bingo in the central area there of 4-Free, just taking everything that they can. Down in the bottom path, we have multiple members of 4-Free looking to see if they can get
भाई
some
इसको
value
जंगलर
down here.
पूरा
They were
सप्रेस कर रहे
fully
हैं
out
भाई
of
इसको
their own
जंगलर को
central area by Yalla Bingo.
Well, it was a 2-on-1 in the top path. Potato is
टॉप भी
managing
लूज
to
कर रहे हैं
get a
2v1
KO out of that as we watch up as a huge rotation by Yala Bingo, forcing Zervis to use their Moonlight as actually a speed boost to just get
देख
out
रहा
of
है
dodge.
से
And I'm glad we pivoted there because
भाई इसका
Potato
जंगल
was
कहीं
sitting
नहीं
on their
मारा
own
कुछ
pad in a
हैंडीकैप
2v1
लग रहा
for like 15
जरबस आया नहीं
seconds.
डिफेंड करने
Yeah, that was really tough here for free. Great rotation by Yala Bingo. Obviously, for free, able to find some value around the map, looking for some experience. They need to evolve into Meowscarada here soon. It's a huge power spike, especially if they
और
get to
टॉप
level
भी
7
लूजिंग
and then
लूज
9
किए
for
ये
Unite.
1v2
Taking everything out of the central area for free. Yala
फोर
Bingo
मैन
doing a
टॉप करना
great job
चाहिए
not only maintaining
इनको
and
भी
withholding scores into their own goal zone, but taking all of that easy experience, which is why we still see Combustion on the side of for free.
We see them pushing down towards this bottom path. This Espeon getting so much value on the side of Yala Bingo. Moving in towards Shelvin right here, caught in the mean look. Zervis pulling back there, nice Moonlight to heal it on up. Still more stored power, more side beam, just continuing to shell damage towards the side of for free. But Zante is evolved. They do have that snipe shot now. Marv trying to block them here as Reg Ice is just being chipped down by the side of Yala Bingo.
Marv is doing a great job keeping Zante away from this Jeff. The Reg Ice is still standing, but Marv has literally kept the attention of 3 players on 4 free
ऊपर 2v2 हो रहा है
occupied.
भाई
That entire 21-second rip.
Here we go.
Is that really a rip?
That rip that took
ये
him
अच्छा किया इसका सपोर्टर
and we
ऊपर
have
ऊपरी था
Meowscarada
ऊपर
finally here by
ये
the side of
2v1 करने
Free,
आ रहे थे
also level
मारने
7,
के लिए
so
डोडो
knows
को
both of its moves. We're going to get to see
बट
which kind of Meowscarada they're bringing
इसका
out to
बंदा
Eos
ऊपर ही था
Island here. You can really see either one. Yala Bingo right now just taking this down. A lot of competitive players, Dupe Snacks, when we're talking about Meowscarada, we've seen Flower Trick, Double Team. Night/Trailblaze also has a decent amount
चार
of
उल्टी
value.
हैं
As
भाई
Regieleki
कुछ तो
is
होगा
being
ये
pushed towards the top path, these two tanks just brawling in the bottom path. Here we go, Dodrio moving in with a big Unite move.
And trying to poach some of the players off the
Dodo
path, can't
ult
quite get there.
too
As Potato
ambitious
is level 10 Spraggles. Gatlu looking for an engagement tool. Right to the Psychic Solaire, pops him up, tons of damage in. We're playing in the back line. Now Six is looking for
हो
another.
गया
We
कुछ
already have 2 players down with Lunder. Zervis is on a
भाई
sliver
क्या
of
चल
HP.
रहा
They
है
get out of
भाई
there, and that is a tier 2 goal zone shattered before the 5-minute mark.
Yala Bingo looking incredible right here. I'm shocked that they gave him the bird, but they gave them the bird not in the way you might think. They gave him the Dodrio, and when they gave them that, I feel like they might have given them the game. I'm surprised they let them pick this Pokemon.
Well, they might not give him the bird. That's the sign language, but there's no respect happening out of Yala Bingo right now. They want theirs here in Game 2. Lundaroo also making an impact anytime they rotate. No exception there in the top path push. And for free has got to feel like the wheels have just suddenly fallen off the wagon that they built in Game 1.
Yeah, they need to figure something out here. We do have the Unite move for Meowscarada. We have the Unite move for Inteleon. We're going to see if this fight feels any different than some of the previous ones. Obviously, they're behind on levels, they're behind on objectives, they're behind on points, but they've got those Unite moves. Meowscarada's is a game changer if they can get a great one out. Here we go, Shelby getting caught, Meowscarada possibly moving in, but no, peeling back, not finding their moment, getting caught by Dodrio.
Potato almost getting a knockout, but not getting caught in the Rock Tomb is probably what's most important there, Spraggles. Nice snipe shot on Marv. They're almost at half HP. We're dancing around each other here. Lunder is low. They go for a solar beam straight into the potential backline engagement with the double team. Marv pivots back to Zervis. We've got Inteleon using their Unite move. Snipe
भाई
shot
क्या
coming through,
इजेक्ट
doesn't hit anybody but the objective.
था भाई
They're pivoting back. Potato shredding them. Gatlu looking for an opportunity
भाई
here.
क्या
But
अल्ट मारी है डोडो
on
ने
top of them. They try to engage back the other way, but it's Potato taking over.
भाई तू
One
देख
player
रहा है
down,
भाई
now they're sitting
पोटैटो
on
को
top of the goal zone. They've taken everybody. 3 players down. Shelby as well. Karushika 2 for
इंसेंट
Potato.
खेल रहा है भाई
Back
वो
the other way. Sorayu is trying to make it happen. 60 still in the cut, and Internal chases it
भाई
down.
डोडरियो चला दिया उसने बंदे ने
For free ultimately getting knocked
और
out.
भाई
His goal
न्यू को
zone
लेवल मिल गया
disappeared.
किल कंफर्म इसने किया है ना न्यू ने
A little bit of bad math right there, but they're still way up on the scoreboard. Yala Bingo doing
नहीं जीत
great
रहे
right
भाई
now. I mean, For Free has to be kicking themselves over this Dodrio. Once again, it's just like wrecking their entire team. Level 12 already. Meowscarada, however, getting some nice combat experience in that moment right there. They'll have a Unite move again very soon. They're going to need a big win in some of these next few fights here, Dupe Snacks.
Something that's impressed me about Potato on this Dodrio is usually Potato is hit the go button and engage. We've actually seen them a couple times, specifically against For Free, peel back. If they don't get their combo, step back, reset, get with the team, and just consider it a lost opportunity, but don't hemorrhage the game back into the hands of the opposing squad, and that's a great way to keep them
ओ
involved
मार
in this
गया
game.
भाई
Nice
बंदा
Meowscarada Unite to the backside. That's 2 players down immediately. Now Potato's crunched in between these 2 players. Marv is forced to pivot back. They're blocked off by
Sarayu को मिल गया
They
level.
actually have a flower trick sitting over their head. Lunder now in trouble as they have to surf away. Rocktoon can't quite catch them, and somehow this Regieleki's still standing.
Yeah, beautiful play there from the Meowscarada Sarayu on the side of 4-free, but nice fights here. Potato still standing, still fighting right here. The support is back here in this top path to the side of Yalabingo.
240 पे
Zante with the big time Unite move jumping into this fight. Regieleki getting low, the flower trick is on it. The overheat could be ready. Are they going to be able to get the
अरे क्या
secure?
हो गया
With the solar beam. Let's
भाई
go.
क्या
My
ही
goodness, Yalabingo.
Dude, I mean, solar beam through the light screen, pinned back with the Rocktoon just didn't matter because the range on the sun
जीत
is
गए ना
infinite, my friend. It's definitely hitting Earth, and what's hitting
मटका
Earth
कर दो guys, मटका
that is Yalabingo snatching everything out from the hands of the 4-3, saying we're taking that 5
इनका टीम डिसीजन क्या होगा भाई अभी
Right now needs
क्योंकि
to
वो
get
स्पॉन
taken
तो हो
down
रहे
here
हैं
by
मटका
4-3.
ही
They
है
have to watch it because of course if they don't,
only
Yalabingo
option
can run in here and just score massively. Yalabingo knows this. They immediately turn on to Rayquaza. Godlu coming in for a possible here.
ले
Here's
लिया
the own team, but no, it is Mew that is able to take that down. Yalabingo turning that Regieleki fight into a game win.
Bro, 4-3 looking like Gargamel right now. Yalabingo smurfing on him.
बटन दबाने शर्मा नहीं रहे भाई
Yalabingo reading 4-3 like a book, and now it's time to get those burgers in, and everybody on Bingo's eating good.
That's right, Yalabingo just reining in those Hundo burgers here as they are going to tie this series up. They must be feeling pretty good about this, and I have to assume if I'm 4-3, I'm taking away this Dodrio. It just feels like they don't have an answer for it at all.
Like I said, I mean, the recipe to success to beat Yalabingo needs to be cut off Potato from his Pokemon. And right now, we know they've got two, Buzzwole and Dodrio for sure. So take those out of the equation and force Yalabingo to adjust. The Garchomp, not even in the same stratosphere as these other two Pokemon right now. As Potato is level 15, gets X-Scissor down, but that is just what it is. 669, nice, to 13.
Yeah, huge scoreline right here for Yalabingo.
Yalabingo
Right now. 4-3 in some trouble, and in the most exciting way possible, we have got it tied up in a bracket reset between these two titans of the EU region. Next game is your winner of the March finals, and we're going to see what 4-3 wants to do about this here as we just have some fun on the goal zone right now. We're going to see how high we can get that score zone. Hey, 779, nicer.
Yes, that is the other super nice number is
Even
79,
bigger,
of
dude.
course.
Snacks. I'm sorry, but 79's a little bigger, buddy. Nice
Just that
try,
a
though.
little bigger.
Nice try,
That's
my
10
friend.
more. That is 1, 2, 3. I've got 10 fingers. Count them out. Make it happen. Sorry, you can't even get the courtesy burger in there at the end. Yalabingo going crazy.
Can't even get that courtesy burger.
You ever heard of the courtesy bird?
No, I've heard of the courtesy. I mean, the reason I'm enjoying it so much is because everyone's heard of that courtesy burger.
Well, have you
that
heard of the dumpster threshold line?
Of course I've heard of the dumpster threshold. You know what? Enough of us. Let's send it on over to Zoinks and Wonder Chef to break this thing down.
I don't think we could ever have enough of those two. That just feels like wrong to say. I'm so happy that they are in charge of casting this game because this match has been excellent so far. Very, very exciting. Honestly, landslide victories either direction. A team is winning. They are winning hard in this